Been an interesting, like 4 days in game, I think? It certainly hasn't been very long since the Circus of Wayward Wonders opening night. But in those intervening days, we have been all over the small town of Aberton, both trying to track down the various perils that I'm gonna go say mildly insane druid named Ariad had wrought, and trying to help the mayor David Holden with some other problems he had involving a gang and a goat, which seemed to be far more deadly than the insane druid and anything she could possibly create. But throughout our time, we have been to the mill, to the orchard, and now around to a barn on the outskirts of town, which was where we left off last week. It's definitely not a safe place, this barn, as
Barn is hell.
Barn is hell. That's accurate. We've already experienced a pretty decent amount of turmoil just immediately outside the door when the party had arrived yesterday, faced with a massive two-potted? I was going to say headed, but I don't know if they count as heads, really. Two-potted snapping plant thing, which ate and nearly killed Arubis in seconds. We had to retreat after that, but still had to return, as we have to know what that druid has done here, and if it's still presenting a danger to the town of Aberton. And as Lizard Man stepped his little clawed foot across the threshold into an empty, open, and very scorched interior of the barn here, we found out that, well, there is in fact a problem here. There are quite a few problems, as a strange little earth devil, seemingly another one of these mephits, poked his head around from the cow stall at the far end, and two fire mephits leaned down from the loft above. So before we roll initiative real quick here, because we left off just on the cusp of combat land, this is going to be a little bit of an interesting map. So hopefully this will work out somewhat well. If you guys zoom out, like a lot, you will see that you can actually see both floors of the barn. Because realistically, the barn is very open. You can see up there. It's just a walkway that circles around the southeast and northern sides of the barn itself. And you can clearly see the two fire mephits up above you. So if you zoom out a lot, can everybody see both floors?
Yes.
Also, on the lower floor with you, I have put two tiny little fire mephit icons, just to kind of indicate at a glance
Their
there
location,
where
right.
above you the two fire mephits are. I'm trying to make it, because this is a multi-leveled fight, which is somewhat difficult to represent via Roll20. I'm trying to make it as visible as possible. But
I
with
think
that,
you've done a good job.
I am going to need you to roll some initiative.
This time I'm clicking initiative instead of perception. I have been rewarded on this day.
That was, in fact, pretty spicy. Oh, they all have the same initiative modifier, so I can just roll a big old bucket of d20s and then just start jamming numbers. All right, down the line. Potato. Potato. Potato.
Potato.
Well, not fast little goobers, are they? The earth mephit down near the end seems to be a zone when it's... Oh, I don't have Zerg on here yet. Did you roll Zerg?
I probably didn't have my thing selected. Hang on, I'll roll it.
Okay. There we go. They're
Gotta
all...
click the thing.
Yeah, kind of in shock here. Caught very fully off guard. And Selwyn, though you are a good 10 feet back from the door here,
Right.
you are the first to react as you can clearly see this earthen creature come around the corner. Now, when I say he's large, he is large for a mephit. He's much larger,
Right.
he's much bulkier. His body's seeming to be made thoroughly of mud and stone, but he is still only about 3 feet tall, like the rest of the mephits. He's not towering by any stretch of the imagination. And one last
Right.
apology to the chat here. Because of the way the camera setups work and the fact that we are missing a person, I cannot use the combat pane overlays today that have the character's stats on them. So sorry for that. Go ahead,
Right.
Solon.
Do I see? Well, what do I see on the floor inside the barn? Do I see like any appliances, like a hoe or something?
You'd be looking in through the door here, so you could clearly see that this area to Lizard Man's right is an area of storage with several racks, tools, rakes, and hoes and shovels leaned up against the wall, as well as sacks of hay and grain stored along the ground. The only
Right.
meat you would immediately see is the earth meat at the far end of the barn.
I don't see the fire ones. Okay.
No, because they're a floor above.
Okay.
They're
okay.
up on the
thought
loft.
they were
They're
doing-
above
because
the
it was
barn door
open.
entirely.
Right.
Lizard Man's the only one who
Um,
can see them currently.
Right. Fair. In that case, I would like to hold.
Alrighty. So then Lizard Man in the doorway here. Clearly, this Mephit means to, well, do you some kind of harm, though they are very surprised.
You know, I go my whole life never seeing one of these things, and now they're just like popping up all over the place. And I'm going to quick jump and grab the overhang on grab the overhang on top from where I am, and do kind of a backflip up onto the top floor.
That's okay. That's pretty acrobatic. So quick jump allows you to high jump as a single action without any kind of a running start, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you roll me an athletics check.
Okay. With the 1. So not very good.
That's a 2.
Well,
That's a 2.
It is a 2. It's a
Starting
10.
off strong.
Starting
So,
out strong, you guys. I'm
continuation.
gonna save my hero points just in case.
So, as you step in there and turn to try to jump up, you definitely do not jump high enough to even to reach the beams above you. As your claws just kind of scrabble against the loose wood, you don't really go anywhere. It's really a wildly pathetic little hop, all things considered.
Wildly pathetic.
He just kind of like bounces a little bit. You don't really. Maybe you
Just-
thought it was closer than it actually
Shake
is.
my arms out like I'm kind of like hopping, getting ready for fight here. Shake that one off. I'm going to sprint forward and smash some rocks.
Okay.
Totally, nobody noticed anything. I was just loosening up.
Okay. So
Smooth.
so sudden charge, I assume.
Yeah.
As you sudden charge forward, you walk past this first cow stall here, and you can see just out of corner of your eye as you run by, because this stall's just bars. The door here doesn't block your view into the stall at all. It's not really how they work. 2 corpses, just human corpses, heaped, very literally, almost piled like dirty laundry in the center of the room, and something looks very off about it to you, but you just barely get a glimpse as you charge by to the second cow stall, where you see 3 people, a man, a woman, and a child, still very much alive, gagged and bound to the side of the center cow stall, their eyes wide as they watch a 6-foot-tall lizard person charge past them before you crash
I would
into the
probably
meat.
halt as I walked by. Like I was like sprinting and I like skid to a stop. Never mind. And then start running.
Stutters for a moment and continues forward.
And then I guess I just roll my damage.
Yep.
23.
Mean strike. 23 will hit.
God.
And that's 10 damage.
So as you rush forward, you connect and crash into this thing with a solid hit. But as the this Earth Miffet here seems to be much bulkier and sturdier than the other Miffets. What would be nearly a fatal blow to the air or the water ones you had fought earlier is not anywhere near that to this one.
Right, that's my turn.
Zerg.
Zerg, yes. How high up is that second floor?
About 10 feet
Okay.
up.
Very,
Great.
very high.
Impossible, some say.
It's not so high for some. It's not a big problem, really. Zerg would like to also try and climb up and get onto that second floor from the outside.
Okay, so you can run in. You have a running start. So
Yes.
it's 2 actions to run in and just jump up and try to grab it. So you as well make me an athletics check.
17.
Oh, with a 17, that would be enough for you to leap up and grab onto the ledge above you. And then as your third action, you could easily haul yourself up.
Can I
Alongside
reach? Can I reach the Mephit from where I am while
Hanging?
hanging onto the edge? Yeah.
Sure,
I
you
can. I have
definitely
combat
can.
climber, so I have a feat that lets me do that.
Oh, then absolutely, yes.
Sweet. What do I need to do if I wanted to just like grab it while on the ledge? What kind of roll do you need? Do you want to roll or can I
Grab
just do
it.
it?
Grab it while you're hanging on the ledge. Okay. I don't see why
Like
you
by the
couldn't just
foot
make a
or-
normal grapple attempt. Yeah, to just like grab its dumb little leg with your last action. So make me an athletics roll. Just jump up and grab this little fiery idiot.
24.
Oh boy.
Wow. That critically succeeds. So he's not just immobilized, he is restrained. He can take no actions until he breaks away from you. He's a little
Yes!
dude. Like, these Mephits aren't large. You don't grab his leg, you just put your hand over his whole face and just grab his head. And
What you
he's
think
just
you're doing?
flailing and can't do anything, nor can he open his mouth to fight back.
I would like to take my turn now.
All right, so So as you come to step in here, you can start hearing muffled cries for help coming from the center of the barn.
I mean, would
Right.
they immediately search for help if they've only seen a lizard monster?
That would make them yell for help. Well, they can hear Zerg running, like they hear people running in and
people,
stuff
okay,
happening.
okay,
Yeah,
good.
like
Yeah.
they can hear.
I'll run to here, notice the people. Say, don't worry, we'll get you out. Lickety split. And I would like to throw a shovel into the restrained Mephit's head. With my telekinetic.
Oh, okay. I was like, did you grab a shovel on the way over? Oh, okay. So he's gonna yeet a shovel up. Sure.
I'm gonna do that magically.
Yep. You don't have to stop and grab it. Magic will do that.
Yep. And let me see if I can just click the spell and that'll do it for me. Nope, sure didn't.
Spell, it's just your spell attack roll then.
Yeah. I'll just edit that manually. So 24.
24 while he is restrained is actually a critical hit. So Sir grabs his head and then just sees a shovel shoot up into the body of this little fiery creature. Which kills him instantly. Okay.
Fucking
Boxcars for 36 damage.
No, that was the crit.
Oh, that was the crit. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap. I mean, I was going to say over double killing it because 18 still kills it outright. So
Zerg's just holding a head.
yeah, now Zerg is just holding onto a head.
I decapitated the shovel, like it went right through.
Like, his hand probably burning a bit, fire kind of licking up around it, and just the shovel shoots right through this thing, and the lower half of the meat just falls onto the ground into a little hump of ash and just sooty residue. Dead instantly. Aramis.
You just hear me out, like you hear from the corner of your eye, you just hear me, like mouth agape. Like, holy shit.
So from where I'm standing, is the second floor like open? Can I see other Mephit up there, or they?
No,
like,
you could see the back of the second floor because the barn door itself is pretty square. It's about 10 feet wide, 10 feet high, and this is a loft landing that runs up above that. So you can see through the door up to the back level, but they would be above, like the landing above the door in front of you. So you couldn't see the fire Mephit. So you also could only see the one Earth Mephit that Lizardman is fighting.
Okay, she is back there. Okay. I was gonna sit there and sort of look up as I see Zerg fumbling and hanging on the side of the building, just sort of. And then I'm just gonna skip behind Selwyn and follow her inside. I want to get it within. I want to get within a 30. That's probably 30.
That's 30.
And from right here, I want to cast Tanglefoot.
Okay. On the
one that Lizardman's fighting.
That is a reflex save, correct?
Yes. Let me click it. I think it says.
Oh, well, it looks like it's an attack roll. Someday we're going to remember what Tanglefoot does because you cast it every session and nobody has any idea what it does every session.
Time.
So, yeah, it is just a hit. And a 24 will succeed. So we'll hit them. So this comes up from the sticky vine comes up, lashing around this thing's feet a bit and slowing it.
And that's me.
Alrighty. So surging up from the ground, another of these Earth Mephits just pops up in the center of the barn. Not really clambering up from a hole or anything, just popping out of it almost like a fish would from water. And as it comes up, it's much more swollen than the other one, rotund, almost spherical. And with a low rumble, it opens its mouth and lets forth a cascade of small pebbles across Selwyn and Arvis. I need reflex saves from you two. Angry Mephit noises in the background.
Yep. I love it.
They aren't dumb little imps, after all.
19 for me.
That is
Wow.
a 29 for me.
So, Selwyn, you will critically succeed. You take no damage whatsoever.
I'm matrixing through that shit.
And Arbus, you succeed. So instead of taking 6 damage, you will take 3.
Gotcha.
And after he sprays this out, he sprays out a lot of what seems like his mass, an incredible amount of these little bits of pebbles and mud shot spewing forth until he's left almost kind of scrawny and thin there, just standing in front of you. The last Earth Mephit, rather, as it gets hit by Lizardman, recoils back and has this thing roll up around its feet, growling in this strange language that they all seem to speak. Looks up and looks around, still almost a bit confused. Ooh, sure. And just pulls against the vine a little bit, clearly stuck, before it puts its hands together. Chrysaori Magna! And with that incantation, it begins to grow to a truly massive size, filling up most of the space between the stalls, most of this walkway here, towering over the Lizardman in an instant, before just raising one huge hand and bringing it down on him. What's your AC?
Okay, my AC is 19.
Now, he does, in this new massive size, almost look like he's moving somewhat in slow motion. And this huge, towering blow comes down with you able to fairly easily dip away from it. But his hand smashes with incredible force into the dirt, and pulling it up, leaving an impression inches deep where his hand had landed. The fire mephit up top is boggled by what just happened to his friend. And he looks over at Zerg, still holding the head of his friend with one hand and hanging on with the other. And his eyes just go wide, and he screeches out, "Nyah!" and hops over next to you, just blows a cone of fire down all over Zerg, which also catches Arubis down below. So I need a reflex save from both of you. We get
25. Feel like that's pretty good.
25 is pretty good. They'll definitely succeed. Zerg,
Roll 19.
are you muted?
God, I'm muted. God damn it. 19.
19.
Is there a critical success for this?
No, both of you will succeed, so you'll be taking half. So instead of 5, you will each take 2. But you will also catch fire. This spray coming out of him, half flames, but half a strange burning liquid. A lot of it left over, still clinging to both of your bodies and crackling with a blaze. Lizard man.
Okay, so this guy's like towering over me now, right?
Yes, he is probably about 12 feet tall now. He is a massive, hulking beast.
Okay, so I'm going to now quick jump, grab onto his snout, and levy myself onto his shoulders with my legs giving a good headlock, and just start pounding into his head.
Oh, Skyrim dragon execution. Okay, I dig it.
Oh, that's exactly what that is. Wow.
So, do you want to give me athletics? We'll say you're gonna try to grapple him, but there won't be any penalty for the size difference because with your quick jump feat here.
So 21 athletics.
Oh, the 21. Lizard man leaps atop the earth mephit, and it's grabbed. It's immobilized now.
Then I'm just gonna
And-
try to start tearing into it.
And yes, then you can just start attacking. The grapple is 1 on the attack penalty because getting yourself up there is quite an exertion.
Okay, so -5 to this, so no, 17 -5. And then the third, -10, so 13, so I guess it
So,
would be a 12 and a 13.
You need to. Those both hit. While
They
he is grabbed and massive. It has made him
Whoa.
huge, but as you start slashing away at its head, it has not made him any hardier. If anything, he is now huge, lumbering, and slow. And while you're atop him and he can do nothing to avoid you, it is almost no difficulty whatsoever to just rip your way through his oversized, muddy head like you were just digging a hole in the ground outside.
Oh, wow, I was
And-
way overestimating how hard
Yeah, like you need to slow down.
He just pulled his brain out.
But with 5 and then 8 damage, you will rip and tear until it is done. And this thing
Yeah.
sinks down and collapses onto the ground underneath you. Zerg. Still hanging, now on fire. So,
Can I reach
has
this mephit?
persistent... You can reach this mephit. Real quick, has persistent damage come up in this campaign yet?
Yeah, the electricity.
Poison and electricity.
Right.
Poison and
Okay, so
electricity.
just a reminder, you'll take damage at the end of each of your turns, with a small chance for the damage to go away on its own. It's like a 30% chance it'll just stop every round. But you can also spend 2 actions if you can do something to reasonably prevent yourself from taking damage to get a 50-50 chance for it to go away immediately. But go ahead.
So I'd like to grab this mephit as well.
Okay. Combat climber value right here.
15.
15 is not a critical success, but it will grab him.
And then I'd like to let go. And is the big boy underneath me at this point, or am I not near it? Quite.
He's kind of in the middle of the barn. None of them have come far enough. You're still pretty close to the door. None of them have come far enough down to come near you yet.
Okay, I'll climb up then. onto my platform.
All right. Still holding on this thing's leg.
Still holding on. And then I'd like to jump onto the big boy, Mephit in hand.
Oh, wow. That is,
While on fire. While on fire.
The Earth Mephit is 20 feet downrange from you. And you do not have a running start. So that is, like, you
Okay.
can try. It's almost literally impossible. But
For the sub.
let me do the same thing this way so I can also have a tiny little Mephit on this one here to kind of indicate where he's at on this side. There, so as a quick visual reference on each layer of where the other Mephits are. He's pretty far away.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm gonna jump towards the giant Mephit with an attempt to get as close to, if not on, as possible.
Oh boy.
Okay. So you're grabbing onto this Mephit. I'm gonna make you make an athletics check to bring him with you because he is relatively small, but he's also not entirely solid, and he very much does not want to go. So, and you don't have him like fully restrained; you just kind of grab it on.
19.
19 will do it. So you leap 10 feet out with this Mephit in hand, both of you on fire, and come crashing down on the ground right next to Arvis here. Each of you are going to take, and I did this wrong last time, each of you are going to take 5 bludgeoning damage from the fall. You don't roll, we screwed this up before, you don't roll any kind of falling damage in 2nd edition, it's just half the distance you fell in bludgeoning. We each just take 5, and you're both prone. As you, from the top rope, just slam both of you down onto the floor here. Selwyn. Oh, at the end of your turn, as you land, you take that 4 bludgeoning damage, you also take 4 fire damage. And then just roll me a flat d20, just slash R d20 to see if the fire goes out. It's called a flat check. You don't have anything that modifies whether it's more or less successful. With a 3, you're still on fire. Selwyn.
I would like to twin feint this Earth Mephit in front of me.
Go ahead.
First. 23 for 9 damage.
23 will certainly hit, and 9 damage to this creature, who, while he looks very sturdy, is more mud than stone. Your blades cut through him about as easily as flesh.
And this sneak attack. -4, so 16.
16 with his flat-footed will hit.
12 damage.
And with 12 damage, this quick flurry of blows would slice the second Earth Mephit to pieces.
Sweet. Pow. Great job,
So easy
Clara,
with an action.
Kieran. Easy. Well, yeah, it's true. I looked down on a dead Mephit. I didn't expect it to go this quickly. And I guess I'll
You
look
found
to
a bunch
the
of
other
Mephits by this point. They're not that
Well, I
spooky.
mean, I'm surprised every time.
Continually surprised by the weakness of
Right.
the Mephits.
And then I'll glare evilly at the last Mephit after I kill his friend.
There's a class
it's
meme called
struggling
You're
to,
Next that I feel like you might get a lot of value out of.
First one, 20. It took a while for
A 20. You have Intimidating Glance, right?
yes.
Okay,
So I'm
20.
staring at him.
After this, Fire Mephit gets RKO'd from 10 feet up onto the wooden floor of the barn by the person he just set on fire, who doesn't seem to be bothered at all. And it watches you eviscerate the significantly larger one. He is a little terrified, but he's also grabbed prone and very stuck. Aravis, he's also right next to you, though you are also on fire. So when everything in that direction is just on fire. The front of the barn is just ablaze.
Yeah, I look back and the whole thing is just on fire.
Okay. Everything's on fire. Zerg and people falling out of the sky. As I'm gonna try to like put myself out, I'm gonna attempt to put my fire out, I guess. But as I'm doing that, I'm just gonna look. Hi, Mr. Batsky. See him laying on the ground as I put my fire out. How do I roll something for that, or
Well, what are you doing? How are you going to try and stop the fire?
can I just pat it?
Just frantically pat it yourself. Yeah.
Or actually, better yet. I'm gonna say that and then start doing like barrel rolls out into the field.
Stop, drop, and roll. There we go. Yeah, you just roll a flat d20, and
Okay.
if you get a 10 or higher, you're able to put out the fire. If you can give me a way you can reasonably end the effect, you need a 10 or higher.
Okay.
A 14, you would be able to pat the flames out before they did any further damage to you. You're no longer taking persistent damage. And that's 2 actions, so it leaves you with 1 left. Which, if you want to go out there, would be to straight out there, because it doesn't, like, you can roll around in place, really. Oh, then straight out.
I was
Okay.
rolling. I was rolling all the
Okay.
way inside.
All right.
That's me then.
The fire mephit is not in a great place. He is prone. Zerg is still grabbing onto him. Zerg's already on fire, doesn't really seem to be bothered. From the ground here, he's pretty out of things to do. And he's just gonna scrabble around on the floor, not even really try to find his footing or anything, and just open his dumb little mouth and chomp down on Zerg's arm, where he's holding on to him. What's your AC, Zerg?
19.
And he's gonna just bite into you. He doesn't bite particularly hard, though his mouth does appear to be full of very pointed, sharp little puppy teeth. But the inside of his mouth is where the fire comes from, and it's quite hot. And that's doing more damage to you, honestly, than the jaws themselves are. But still, it's 7 damage. You've suffered significantly worse than this. But surprising for such a small little creature. Afterward, still scrabbling away, more floundering, I would say. He is flop fishing on the ground right now, not really managing to get up or do anything, just screeching as he rides around, then stops for a second, takes the hand he can get free, monster pot, and casts a spell on Zerg, or tries
What
to.
now?
He's grabbed. He has to pass a flat check, which I will just open roll because there's no modifiers on this. Okay, he will get his spell off. And Zerg is going to take a further 2 damage as this screeching imp voice just burrows into his head, seeming to dull his brain directly. Lizard man.
So I start walking over. I'm going to look inside this stall, grab a water bucket out, and then.
Well, there wouldn't be
There's-
any buckets like pre-full of water sitting there. There would be a bucket.
Well, if they don't, if they bring in. They leave water buckets full of water.
Well, this barn
There
hasn't
are
been in
animals.
use in a long time.
Oh, okay. So then I would just go over and belly flop on Zerg and try and roll it around with him, trying to get all of the fire off of him. So I land dive onto Zerg, and then just do like this. This is the maneuver, and I'll just like kind of rub him into the dirt. Trying
The
to put his
dirt and
fire
the
out.
stone, the wood rather, just trying to put the fire out.
That son of a bitch, lizard.
Roll me a flat check.
Okay. Let's see here.
And you put the fire out.
That's the way to put your fire out. And that's my turn.
And now Zerg, you are still prone, and you're still holding on to the fire mephit because he didn't break away from you, who is also still prone. But if you don't at least spend an action to continue grappling him, he does automatically wriggle free while you're taking the rest of your turn.
Okay. The big earth beef, it's still there, right?
He's there. He's
dead.
dead, but he's there. Yes.
Okay.
None of them are gone. I just delete the
just
tokens because they're
got
small and they're
bits,
not difficult to drain or anything.
Well, he bit me. I'm gonna bite back. I'm gonna attempt. How? Okay, so if
Spicy.
I'm just gonna take a bite out of him.
I mean, he's pretty small and pretty spicy. Yeah, give me a natural attack.
Oh my god.
I like hot food. What's his problem? Oh well.
The biting continues to prove ineffective from Zerg.
I'll use. I guess I'll strengthen my grip. I'll use an action to strengthen my grip on him, make sure he's not getting
All
anywhere.
right. Let's make me an athletics check. It's the same as when you grab him in the first place. It's a constant back and forth.
21.
All right, so that is a -5 for being a second attack, but that's still successful, so he'll remain grappled.
I guess I'll stand up. I'm still prone, so I'll stand up.
All right.
With this thing grappled.
Lizard, you shuck Lizard off here. Just get up.
Get off of me! I'm fine.
So, Selwyn, as this fight kind of narrows down here, the three of you adjacent to the southern stall, where there were the corpses, there's the 2 corpses heaped in the center. You've stood here for a bit now, and you can't help but notice they are incredibly wrong. They aren't corpses heaped one on the other, so much as they seem to be piles of skin. As if the flesh from a human had simply been shucked off of the skeleton inside it, left in a folded heap. 2 robed figures atop one another, just laying there carelessly. There is no way these Mephits did that.
Okay. Well, scared shitless out of my mind. I feel like I should focus on the immediate danger.
Who is still prone and grappled.
I'll casually walk around and start stabbing downwards. I guess I'm not really feeling the twin thing because he's already grappled.
He's
and that
being
makes
quite
it
literally held down, yes.
Yeah, I guess I'll just like kind of just push my sword and like get into the sack. 15.
15 will hit.
And that has sneak attack on it. So 9
damage isn't quite enough to kill him, but
Alright,
just
I'll try
nearly
one
as
more time.
as the fire across his body and his wings starts to sputter and die.
21 with a -5 is -4 is 17. So I imagine
Yep, and
that,
17
Yeah.
will absolutely do it. That will bring down the last of these Mephits here. And as his crackling fire kind of fades into silence, you're left only with the cries of the gagged family in the middle stall, still begging for help. But
I feel like
nothing
there's
else other than the
something
birds
off
and
here.
trees outside.
Yeah,
You guys feel
why
like the
there's so
family's
many-
evil?
I don't know. Did it look evil? I'd walk over to them, look in the
Wait,
bars.
hold up, wait. Before we do that, because they're not in immediate danger, they're just crying for help. I think we should
yes.
inspect that skin.
There
'cause
does not appear to be any kind of an immediate danger. No, they are just. I mean,
I
they're
hold
gagged, so
great
you can't
fear
really. I
in
mean,
my
they
heart.
might be telling you, "Watch out! A skeleton-eating monster is coming up behind you."
Right,
It's just kind of
but
muffled.
What if skin stealers and the family is skin changers hiding as innocent civilians, and the skin in there is what they left behind to make that
And you're
disguise.
talking about this, not 15 feet from this stall where they're in.
So you're saying I should kill them?
No, wait, no.
Because I can't. I could do that.
I-
Okay, I'll go.
no.
Don't worry. I'll take care of it. It'll be quick, easy.
No, wait.
Lizard approaches the cell here, and as you're at the gate, you see both their eyes kind of go wide. The man and the woman scooting back further away from the cage, sheltering the child behind the father, trying to keep him protected. And the woman screeching something shrilly behind her gag. The man, the child, now silent.
I will walk in and take the gag off the woman.
And
Okay,
as you release her, she immediately is just falling over herself with words. Like it's just ranting, stammering panic.
She was a lot quieter with the gag on.
But after
That's why I
a
took it
brief
out.
moment, she composed herself for a second. No, please, we don't know what they are, but please. What the Hoftons, the Miller family, anyone in town knows this.
Oh, sweet, they're still alive. Woohoo!
Yeah, you're the ones we're looking for. High five. I
Yeah,
thought you
high
guys were
five.
dead.
No,
What's his
she's
high
a.
five?
It's a 5 that comes up high. It's very self-explanatory.
She's still bound. You took the gag up, but her family's still bound against the backside. And as you look at her, you can notice all three of them are fairly lean, bordering on emaciated. And she continues, "Please, Ama, my daughter, do you have any water? We've had nothing for days."
Uh,
Yeah, I've got some water skin.
yeah, it probably has lizard drool in it, but I hope you
Yeah,
don't mind.
She's still bound and can't really do anything, so she just continues
I'll
pleading.
invite them all.
So as you untie her, she would immediately turn to untie her child and let you deal with her husband. But Lizard, if you would hand them a water skin, they would
I would just
take
toss
it
it at them.
yeah, in a heartbeat and hand it down to their daughter for her to drink, and then they would just take whatever was left afterward. And as the child and the lady are drinking, the man turns to you. "Oh, Sarah, whoever you are, thank Abadar, thank the gods, thank whoever sent you. I'm Rikard Hafton.
I
You're
am
not
Zolan.
with them. You're not with the druids?
The druids. Which ones? Give names.
I am a druid.
I don't know names."
Yeah, we got a druid. Do you need a druid?
And his eyes go wide as he looks over at Arubis. "But you're not.
No.
You have to say, you're not from the Hermitage."
I am the Stormborn.
Not helping, Gray.
"Please, whatever gods we've offended, we've meant no harm. We just lived our lives as we always have. We don't know what we've done wrong."
How many druids captured you?
"Well, just the halfling one. She had magic. There's nothing we could do. She had magic and these creatures, beasts of air, fire, and water at her beck and call. We weren't going to
we
risk the
killed her.
life of our daughter to resist."
And they came from the Armitage, you said?
I can't imagine anywhere else druids would come from.
There's a lot of druids out there. So
Well, I
you're
don't
just
know.
assuming.
I'm a damn miller, lass. I mill grain into flour. I know nothing about this nature, the wrath of gods, the heat waves, the dry spells, whatever else.
No,
That-
I'm just trying to ascertain whether or not we've got a possible link, which we clearly don't. I'm glad you're safe. Do you know anything about that skin?
And the woman cocks her head. Are you lot of the? Are you the circus?
Hey, that's us. Hey, Zig,
Uh-oh.
she knows us too.
So famous.
This is not probably a good
You brought the
thing.
druids here. She's after you.
Well, that's not fair.
Yeah. Hey, you can't blame us
And-
for all your problems.
Want a
Rickard.
refund, I guess?
Rickard shakes his head. No. Calm, my love. They weren't after the circus. The
We were
halfling.
victims.
The halfling druid, the one who took us, the one who brought forth these elemental devils, whatever they are, these beasts of nature. You're alive, and by Abadar, you've slain all of them.
She has been brought to justice.
Yeah,
we killed her.
she is crazy dead.
And at this point, the wife is just comforting the child here, just kneeled down, holding her, and kind of shielding her from the group of assorted crazy people standing here in
Wow.
the stall.
What is her name?
And the husband kind of puts a hand out, because you're in front of you, just sort of as a reaction, defensively, not like against you, just between the two of you.
And I
I'm a-
high five it, and I'm like, see, that's a high five. It's like a clap, but it's like a team thing.
Okay.
Gray, I believe they said her name was Nunya.
Nanya.
Nunya Business.
That's. I don't get.
I'll give her a grin.
Why would you? Selwyn.
The guy's just speechless. Look across the group, just absolutely speechless.
Well, you're safe. It's the perfect time to crack a few jokes, right? Like, lighten the mood. You're not dead. We're not dead. The Mephits?
They're dead.
Whatever they're called, they're dead. Cause for celebration. The sheriff's dead, though. That's kind of sad.
Oh yeah, I forgot about her.
Are you mad?
Not last I checked. Close, not quite.
Look,
you?
do you have any
She
food?
hides her pain with
Bread,
comedy.
cheese, anything. We've been bound here for days.
Oh,
They
gee.
brought us nothing. They left us here to
Actually,
die.
It's not very
Lots of
nice to
meat.
call someone insane and then ask for food, but yeah, sure, we could probably
Well,
get
you
some
are
food.
also kind of standing between them and the entrance, and I mean, I guess he's not feeling like asking you to move at the moment.
Oh, all right. I mean, well, we can take him back to our circus camp. And
He's
we
in the
can all-
back of a cow stall.
Yeah, yeah.
Look,
well, we all have problems.
We just want to get home. Please, I want no more of this. I don't know what's happened to bring the wrath of the Hermitage down on us. We've done nothing wrong. I just want to take little Ima home and get
Are
her
you
some honeyed
sure
ham, her favorite.
You don't want some freshly cooked.
I like honeyed
or-
ham.
Honey ham.
I also like honeyed ham.
Can
Look,
we, can
see
we
what
come
it
with you?
We've
Escort
honey
you to
back
your
at our
home.
mill. Plenty of it, 3 jars, more than enough to feed everyone.
Wait,
Don't say
I don't
that.
want to be here anymore.
Do you have
Okay.
3 dolls at your where? What? I'm interested now. This is.
Let's escort you back to your home just to make sure you're safe.
Please. When she
I feel
came,
like a part
she...
of extortion.
I don't know if she's left anything back behind. She brought all of these beasts along with her. Bees, boars, these nature devils, whatever they are.
Well, we dealt with the bees and the boars. We also dealt with the plant and these devil things.
And he goes to take a step forward, and
I'll let him pass.
as he does, his knees just cave, and he falls down.
I just pick him
Stumbles
up and
onto
hoist
the
him
ground
over my
there.
shoulder.
I look at you. I bloody well don't know what you are, lizard man, but
Circle folks.
thank you, all of you.
Yeah,
I
no
don't know.
problem. You want me to get your wife too? Hey Zig, come get this wife.
Yes, I get the wife.
As this huge orc lumbers towards the pair, she kind of shelters the kid a bit more.
You can
And
get your kid too. He's real strong.
the wife lets out, no, please.
He's
And
okay.
just kind of
I'm not
points
going to bite you.
to Ariad or Selwyn. Can one of you help us?
I give great piggyback rides.
I don't think I should be the one carrying. I am, despite my
You were the size of
nature
the
as a
child, so
kick-ass, well, I'm still incredibly weak.
and if Artemis will come forth, she will reluctantly turn with her daughter. Look, it's okay, Ima. Just patting her head.
I'll pull a flower out of my hair and give it
This is
to her.
one of the old druids, you remember? And the little girl also is starved as the rest of them. Will take the little flower. And she is, the girl is gaunt. Like, near emaciated at this point. From days of complete neglect. She's one of the good ones, like we remember. Remember when we met Reginald? The magic tricks he did for us? She'll keep us safe. Now, up you go. And, she doesn't have the strength to really help her up, and the girl weighs next to nothing at this point. She's probably only 5 or 6 years old. But you get her up on your back, Arbus, and then whoever would help the woman.
I would help the woman. It's just
The,
I'm not very strong.
The group of you would head back out of the barn and back up towards the Hofton Mill.
So
You've been
while you're on
before.
my back, if you look at the pocket.
Are you
the
just
back pocket-
carrying the guy? Because I thought you was kind of like helping him.
Yeah, he's over my shoulder.
Oh, you baked potato sack. All right.
So if you look at the bags, the one furthest towards the arm that's carrying you, there's a packet of Jackie. You can have at it, man.
And you,
I like
unsure of this situation necessarily, but would root around in your backpack. All dignity gone at this point. He's just being hauled all the way across town by a lizard person here. Because just gentle reminder here, the Lindell Barn is all the way down in the southwestern corner of Everton, whereas the Hofton Mill would take you up through the actual center of town to the other end. So, dignity just forsaken for the nice benefit of being alive here. And as
You
you're
guys wanna
making
go
your
to,
way,
like a doctor.
as you're
Do we
making
see
your way
anyone
through
on the way?
a bit of an odd procession. Varn, out front of his shop, wiping down the sign, seeing the group of you walk by, and just shake his head. Damn bloody gnomes and their nonsense. Just keep doing what he's doing.
Fucking dwarves and their racism.
I love him so much.
You'd make your way
Well,
back
would we
up to
see
the mill.
anybody who's like
I mean, there would be like some
medically
people
inclined?
around.
As we do,
The
like,
town
excuse
doesn't
me,
have a
here's coming through.
doctor, really. Like,
I don't
the
know.
town doesn't even have a school. Like, Abberton's not a whole lot for the educated here. There's not a doctor's office here you can really stop by. Everyone's got their basic, I'll rub some mud in it. They understand the concept of a tourniquet, and that's or a splint, and that's about as far as it goes, really.
I also feel like we're being exceptionally rude to the doctor in our party.
Also, yeah, you do kind of have
I am, of course,
purpose.
talking about me.
And Selwyn, I guess.
I was gonna say because I don't have a degree. Come on.
I mean, you have
But
a
as you
degree
get-
of capability.
As you get back to the mill and get them all back inside, back in the mill floor, the stone still turning, the sound of this grinding, once again, the only thing really filling the air. Rickert would stumble over towards the ladder and just look up. Gods, be damned, do I regret this choice of building? And with some assistance, I imagine, be able to get his way up the ladder to where their common room was, their little kitchen,
Right.
where they would all sit around the table. And Rickert would just motion towards their cupboards. Can you do me one more favor? I have hardly any strength.
I'll do it too. Gray, could you look him over?
Okay.
He waves a hand. I'm fine. Get my
Just
wife
in
and daughter,
case,
if anything. They haven't hurt
um,
us, just abandoned us.
Fair enough. And I'll go to the cupboard and open
In
it.
that cupboard, there should be a few jars of honey and some salted meats, some bread. It's stale, but it's better than nothing. Could you fetch them out for me, please?
I'm fetching them out for him.
Well, there would not be any honey, because I don't know if you remember that these have been pilfered previously.
Oh,
Honey? Did someone say honey?
Yeah, I didn't know there's any more honey in here.
shut the fuck up. uh,
Place
And as he
where
kind of
honey.
puts two and two together, as Mono so eloquently put it, there's a moment of enlightenment when the understanding comes together. He waves his hand.
well,
No, it's more than fair. I don't know what devils they left here, but and he motions towards the door to where the air beef would have been. From what I could see of our quarters, it must have been some fight. You more than earned it. Hell, forget that.
there's a lot of bees.
No, I'm
Yes?
sorry. You have a name, I'm sure.
Sullivan, nice to meet you.
Rickert, as I said, I'm my daughter, and a gesture towards the last of them. Scrolling
Like,
furiously. My wife, Syra. Under that bed, there's a lockbox. Can you bring it here?
Right, I'll grab out the box and bring it there.
And Lizard, if you're gonna be rooting through the cupboard still, the meat and the bread will take it. We need food.
All right.
And there is underneath the bed, there is a small, simple wooden iron lockbox. Just iron, bare framing. It's a lock on the front is really gonna keep no more than a child out of it. Anyone who could come through with intent to really rob the place could just smash the thing open as easy as they could pick it. And as you bring it up to him, he pulls a key off of his belt, picks it up, and unlocks the box, and then just turns around and slides it over to Selwyn. All yours. Oh. At this point, if Lizardman's brought anything over from their cupboards there for them to eat, He's
This
sorting.
shit sucks. I'm gonna go, Zig, let's go get some grub. We'll be
Yes.
back in like 10 minutes.
Yes,
Place
very
just down the
hungry.
road.
Yes. I feel like I will accept this graciously,
And,
but we will give you some food in return, some proper boar hunch.
yeah. Inside this, there is an assortment of fairly simple jewelry. About the only thing you've seen in the house, as well as a pile of coin, about 110 silver pieces. Seems to be largely all their savings. In addition, there's an odd item in there. Folded up, taking up about half of the lockbox itself, is a long woven silk scarf, red and purple banded, folded very neatly. And on either end of it, there's tiny little bells, where the last bits of yarn and silk woven onto the end hang out. So the whole box kind of jingles as it moves, not just from the coin, but from these little bits of bells.
Right. What's the scarf?
Got it from another group of travelers that had come through some years back. It's a magic, it is, but just held on to it for its value. They're circus folk. Maybe able to actually make use of the thing.
Heck yeah.
A gypsy'd given it to our daughter for a fair bit of coin.
What do you say? A what?
One of those traveling fortune teller sorts, crystal ball and all.
Okay.
Varisian, I think. It's worth more than all the money that's in there, I'm sure. But take it. Take all of
very
it.
graciously.
We got enough to make do, and we live well here. We run the mill in town. There'll be more coin where that's come from. I owe you my damn life, and far more than that, the life of my wife and daughter. What?
Well, with this, you owe me nothing. Us.
What
Sorry.
brought a circus out to the barn to save us?
Desperation, mostly. From your mayor.
Divine
imagine
intervention,
the
I'd call it. But
The wind guided us to you.
I don't bloody care if Abadar came down himself and spoke to you directly. I'll take whatever
No.
it was.
Not Abadar, the Storm Lord.
Well, whatever god it is. You're one of them druids. You're not from the Hermitage, you said.
He's not.
No.
Are
She's been
you
with me for years.
a druid serving with the circus? That don't make right sense, but not want to tell others how to live their lives, and clearly it's working for you. So the mayor's put you to it then.
Yes.
At this point, he's just taken a bit of their salted meat to just chew through, as well as whatever drink you may have brought over. Lizard and Zerg, you guys just left to go get food from somewhere else.
Yeah.
You guys just
From
fucked
like
off.
I don't know, the tavern, we're just gonna go pick up like a couple baskets full of food.
Why wouldn't you go
Fair enough.
our camp? We have so much boar meat.
Well,
got a
it's
lot of
expensive
boar
and
meat.
it's hot.
It's spring. It's like 60 degrees outside.
No, it's, the food will be hot if
Oh, fair. I thought it was hot. You're like, I don't want to walk that far. It's hot. Lazy. Fair enough. Well, look, maybe you can make more sense of this than me. And if the mayor's put you after this druid, God's forbid, I don't want to know what else she's done with the town. But
No. Yeah, he didn't put us after the druid. Fatal flaw. We already killed the druid, and then he asked us to help.
well, good riddance to bad rubbish then.
Agreed.
She
Well-
was lost, is all. She lost her way.
I saw your tent as you were carrying me over here. You're still pitched up in town, but if you're looking for a warmer, perhaps a less weathered place to stay, whatever you lot are, you're more than welcome here. I'll see to that. And you won't spend a single raw coin on drink as long as you're in town. I'll see to that as well.
Music to
My God.
my ears.
But thank you. That meager sum in that box isn't near enough to thank you for families' lives, but I don't
Oh,
know
I
how
have
else to do it.
I have an idea. So you were saying we don't have to drink while we're in town, but could you make the tavern supply drinks our next show?
Well,
Is that too
And
much
he-
of an ask?
he'd kind of point at the box there. Well, that's the coin I have on hand. So I could talk to them. I could tell them of your deeds. If the mayor's the one who sent you out to do all of this, I'll have words with Holden myself. We can
Sounds
sort
great.
something out, I'm sure.
Thank you.
You should let
So
them
you'll be-
keep the coin, Selwyn, for this favor.
Sorry?
Should let them keep their coin. We don't need it.
You should keep quiet.
Why? Because I say things that you do not want to hear?
Yes. Absolutely and entirely.
We get to keep the scarf.
No. Look. Doing good is all well and good, but getting paid is even better.
We did with the scarf. It's magic.
Look, I'm not one to turn away generosity, okay?
And the woman, Syra, chuckles. You're travelers, that's for sure. Still mean
Yes.
no foul against it. Y'all gotta make our coin somehow. And like my husband said, you fair well earned it.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
So
And I'll start leaving.
so you just raise a hand and right, Gert, we'll call it again. I'll see what I can do. I put my best head to it, but give me a couple days, aye?
Yeah, of course. Just know, even if you don't, it's fine. It was just a suggestion.
Well, I'll damn well do what I can.
I'll give him a thumbs up.
I don't know what you're after, and I don't know what that insane halfling bitch was after, but stay safe. Obviously, you can handle yourselves, but still, stay safe.
We'll do our best. It seems dangerous trying to find us, though. Interesting times for sure.
If I do need you, if I can make this deal come through, do you spend most of your time at the circus grounds?
Yes.
Not much for an inn in town. I'll seek you there then. Who should I be asking for?
Ask for Selwyn.
Aye. A name I'll drink to for years to come. You can be sure.
Sweet.
So with that, you two head out of the mill right around when Zerg and Lizardman will be returning to it. And hey! The grand opposite of all the fights we had last week. You feel better now, kids?
I
We
feel
got it.
great.
We got a good one in there. Your dignity
Yeah.
restored.
Happy about it.
A little.
Yeah.
A lot less plant, chewy.
So as you regroup outside the barn, Lizardman and Zerg, I imagine, munching on some haunches of meat here. Some time has passed. It's not quite to noon, but it's getting later on in the morning. Where are we heading? What's the plan now? I think the last of the leads we haven't explored now is the House of Golden Laws, the Church of Abadar in town.
First,
And
I would. Okay.
I was gonna say we've just fulfilled 2 of our major goals here. Well, as well as we can. We did find the sheriff, and we've saved the Houghton family.
Yeah. I would like to try to identify this scarf.
Okay, I'm just outside the mill. Just gonna.
No, I think we should head back to camp first.
I mean, I'll let you use ours quick identification if you just want to kind of sit and have him look at it
I
for a
would like
moment.
to, yeah.
Alrighty, so I'll roll 1 for him. Let me find his stateronies here. Let me get his page open. It's still going to be. I don't know how to secret roll off of his sheet, so it's not gonna. What's this? I'll just use his modifier. Looks like 6 on nature. So as he looks the thing over, and the scarf itself glows as he tries to read the magic in it, a dull, faint green of illusion. He can't suss out exactly what it does, But as he looks it over and as he tries to draw the magic out of it, the scarf itself almost seems to animate. You can swear as he turns it over in his hands, it's almost dancing and moving with a mind of its own, more than what he's just doing with it. But its purpose, he can't quite unveil.
So it's nature to identify?
It's any magical check.
Right.
So any of the schools, you can use Arcana, Religion, Nature, or Occult.
Right. Well, in that case, we should head back to camp, and I'd like to use religion.
Don't
So,
think there's anything left in that barn, do you?
No, I think that barn is clear.
All right.
Uh-oh.
You guys had turned to see Alder and Findlesworth. Jellicoe bounce, looking not that happy at all. Just kind of dejected over near the edge of town by the mill.
Hey, fellas, how's it hanging?
It's just him. It's not the rest of them.
Oh, hey, Buzz. Wait, what was his name? Buzz?
Alderin Findlesworth is his actual name. Jellicoe Bounce
Oh,
is his
okay.
stage name.
Okay. Oh, hey, Bounce. How's it hanging? How you doing?
I saw the two green ones headed this way and figured might lead me to you.
Oh,
we-
right.
We talk a moment, Sullivan.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Does that have to be private? Does it have
It
to
kind
be
of
with
looks
the group?
back and forth because it's sort of in the middle of the road. Now, you're welcome to come, but not in the center of the road, I'd hope.
Well, yeah. I'll
Done well
listen.
enough embarrassing me in front of the town once, I figure.
Aw. Well, is that looking fun? Probably.
And he just gestures for you to kind of follow him just down a little side path, but out of the way.
I will, but I also gesture my party to follow close behind.
Oh, yeah,
I
I
us so
would.
we
assume
can
like
change
you're
time.
not gonna
follow
follow.
you.
You're not gonna
Yeah.
follow bounce into a dark alley by yourself. There are no dark alleys. It's the middle of the day. The building's like 20 feet apart at the closest, and the sun's almost at its zenith here. Like there's no dark alley. But yeah, you're not gonna follow this dude into an alley by yourself so he can prison shank you or whatever. But as he just kind of drags his feet back around a corner and behind a building, you see a strange thing that he's leading you over to. A rather odd contraption. And contraption is absolutely the word that I would use. It looks like a robot of some kind. A metal chassis painted to look like the front of a suit with a thin stamped plate bow tie mounted on a spring in front of it. The head of the thing hanging almost kind of loosely on a stiff but not enough spring with a metal top hat bolted onto the top of its head.
I want to read aura. Is this thing magical? And
It is
I'm-
certainly magical. In Galarian, science is not advanced enough to make machines and robots normally. Like even clockworks are still animated via magic. So like it's certainly magical, yes. And the whole thing melded kind of like the insane upper torso of a circus barker is mounted on a cart with wheels. The whole thing being maybe about 5 feet tall and 3 feet around square, with gloved hands hanging on like scissor springs, literally like a cartoon boxing glove thing on either side. And it's sitting there just kind of alert. And this bounce gets...
Bounce. Why have you brought us here other than to fuel my nightmares?
Huh. You haven't seen this yet, then? This is a bit of a newer edition, I think, after a lot of you had left. And he slaps the back of it. You can fit so many tickets in this baby. Look. I feel like there's been bad blood between us. And, admittedly, entirely our fault, I'd imagine. I weren't exactly sent here in good faith after all. But I wanted you to have this.
Alright. Has this been sabotaged?
No,
And I'll start
it
loading
works
over.
exactly as it's supposed to. It's a mechanical carny. You can take tickets, serve as a bouncer, handle the riffraff, whatever you need to do. Watch, it's simple. And reaches into a pocket and pulls out one of the Celestial Menagerie's tickets. And you'd recognize it because their tickets are very, very finely made. Engraved and embossed, even cast with faint magic to glow a little bit. Watermarked, near impossible to reproduce. Not really big on subtlety in the Celestial Menagerie, but then again, it is a circus. And so he leans down behind the thing and flips a switch on the back, and with a little bit of chugging mechanisms, the machine comes to life, and lights flash on behind its eyes as its head stands a little more upright, still kind of bobbing side to side, and a voice
back away
emanates.
like a cat.
A voice emanates from within.
Please insert ticket.
He steps around to the front, holding the ticket in hand, and waves it in front of the machine's face, while a further light kind of scans back and forth across the front of its mouth.
Counterfeit ticket detected.
You see? Can even read fake ones.
Blasphemous.
And
Nice.
then with his other hand, he reels back and just slaps the machine on the back. And it sways back and forth a bit as its eyes kind of blink a warning red light from its normal yellow.
Hostility detected. Engaging use of force.
And I'll show you damn well what happens! You embarrass me in public! As the robot trundles forth towards the group of you.
That is how you
What
start a
just
fight right
happened?
And
there.
you
Fight right there.
are gonna roll me some
Fantastic.
initiative.
Oh, why does it always do that to me?
That is hilarious.
Blindsided.
This is
I'm
actually happening.
blindsided by this.
I actually didn't think it was good.
I guess I could use my session reroll on that. That was a natural
And
one,
just to
so-
clarify, just to make double sure, party, you guys can hear the Sirenscape stuff for the robot, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Very important that comes
Hence the
through.
retreating in cat form. Not form, but like
A cat-like response. Because I have set us up a very spectacular Sirenscape set for this battle specifically. And oh man, it's gonna be fun. Okie dokie, so Jellico.
Please disperse.
yes.
I love him.
I'm killing this clown, but I'm keeping
He
the
is-
carny.
He is my.
I figured you'd say something like that.
I'll take your whole stock. Alrighty, so I'm gonna have to bounce back and forth between two very distant PDF pages here. So bear with me a
Oh,
bit.
the
as I-
classic.
The classic bounce. But at least it's a PDF, so I can control F. Or
Yeah.
page jump. There I go. 25 to 86. Jellico's on 25. This robot's on 86.
Oh fuck. Classic
Please
Pysa.
disperse.
But as they activate, you were in fact not expecting this. Absolutely nobody was expecting this. Nobody was prepared for the second tier betrayal. And Jellico reaches down into his belt and draws out not a weapon, but one of his little juggling bowling pins. And as the fight begins, Loopy Caster, please insert villain point. If you fail to insert one, you will be fined 1 on a D20. Feels evil, man. I will absolutely take a second villain point for exactly this encounter.
That's
He
what he
pulls
needs.
out one of his juggling bowling pins and flings it towards Selwyn. What is your flat-footed AC because he beat you in initiative?
17.
17?
You are being removed.
Don't tell me that right before I get decked.
He is going to critically strike you with the bowling
Of
pin.
course.
And as it hits you with a solid crack, It is going to bounce off of your head, flip back to him. He's going to catch it and throw it again.
Oh, Daredevil. Very nice.
He fights with juggling.
Of course he does.
So the first bowling pin is going to strike you for 14 damage.
Okay, nice.
And the second is still
Please
agile.
disperse.
Second is also going to hit you with the flat-footed and pong off you for 8 damage, which is again going to bounce off your forehead as he crack, and catches him as he keeps coming back, and it's going to end with it in his hand again. These two strikes nearly knocking Selwyn unconscious as the robot
Please disperse.
is going to chug forward. And as it does, raising one of its arms, literally cartoon style, launching the glove out on the scissor spring from its one hand towards Lizard Man.
That's amazing.
What's your AC, Lizard Man?
Well, normally 19.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't. It's a perk that makes you treat people you beat as flat-footed. Bounce has it. The robot doesn't.
Okay.
So you're just
yeah.
19.
19.
It's a rogue thing.
Okay.
The fist is just going to spring kind of wildly out. This
You are being
mechanical
removed.
carny doesn't seem to work super fantastically. So it wobbles as it launches and ends up flopping on the ground before it retracts, and it raises up and fires off the other one as well. Which is going to, it's a boxing glove on a spring. Just kind of smack against your armor completely harmlessly and drop to the ground. Zerg.
Great. Shit.
Please disperse.
It's worked before, it works again. I'd like to launch Lizard Man at the mechanical gun.
All right.
But I am
2
right
actions. Wait.
next to it.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna throw you into it.
Ah, okay, gotcha. Okay, I like it.
22.
22. You'll absolutely toss Lizard Man forward into the carny.
Like, is it like bowling into it?
Um,
Does it do anything?
You're not gonna be able to throw Lizard Man who hasn't reacted yet with enough force to do damage, but with one action you can get him up there. Like he
Okay.
also could. The thing goes pop and just punches him, and the Lizard Man just goes and gets shoved up into it. With the wettest noodle slap fight that's happened so far, and Bounce, oh come on! I tested this all morning.
2 actions left, right?
Yes.
I'd like to. I should be able to do this.
You are being
I'd like
removed.
to use Lizard Man as a launching point to flip over the carny and end up behind it, flanking it.
Okay. I
boy.
will definitely. You can flip over and end up next to Bounce there. With an action. This is, you are trained to do this. It's not going to require any kind of a check or anything.
Oh, sweet. Can I see? I want to look to see if there's anything that looks like a weak point.
Like an off switch.
Looking the thing up and down, its head seems to only be mounted on that single spring. And you saw Bounce flip a switch on its back to activate the thing, but you don't see
Please
any
disperse.
immediately visible switches. Its whole back appears to be a large panel that you could possibly beat open, because you don't see
Which
any
is
clear way to
exactly
open
what
it.
I'm gonna do. I'm gonna beat the panel.
All right. Give me an attack.
17.
17 will hit.
8 damage.
So as you punch into it,
Please disperse.
you're punching a steel clockwork. You also just. It hurts. It doesn't feel good, and you feel like you are you're doing some damage. You're the strongest man alive. You're not gonna do nothing, but punching the thing isn't wildly effective. Secondarily, as you punch it with enough force, the whole thing kind of rocks forward a bit, and the head lurches forward on its spring. And as it does, it kind of swivels around and whips back towards you. Turned sideways, kind of works like a mallet. What's your AC?
19.
You are being removed.
Yeah, I am.
You are being removed.
And
Yeah,
the
this is
head,
trouble.
the head is going to slam into you and hit you back like one of those wavy bozo inflatable clouds for 10 damage. It is then gonna sway forward into Lizard Man. What's
Oh,
your
boy.
AC?
19.
And it's going to clank solidly against you, now hitting you with strong metal, staggering you back, but not quite hard enough to do damage before it kind of comes back to a more stable
Please disperse.
wobbling. Arvis.
Okay, I'm hands at sides. I'm gonna open my hands up.
What a
and-
reaction.
And lightning is going to begin to course up Selwyn's legs, stitching wounds together and stuff as I cast a heal on her from
Okay.
range.
Disperse.
So
That's,
D8 plus 8.
D8 plus 8. And you get 11.
Sweet.
So these bowling pins just crack one after the other to Selwyn's face, leaving her surprisingly bloodied and barely conscious. The lightning stitches a lot of her skin back together. Still
I'm
injured,
gonna-
but much better.
Move up right behind her. After
All right.
that, that's me.
Selwyn.
All right. Would you say a juggling pin in the air is considered an unintended object?
For what purpose?
For me, using his own fucking bowling pin to telekinetic
You are
blast
being
into his head.
removed.
Well, he's holding it now. He ends
he's
his turn
not
with it in
throwing
his
it?
hand. Like he throws it,
Okay.
hits you, catches it, throws it, hits you, catches it. So it's in his.
Not
He has a
juggling?
bunch more on his belt, but those are all attended. Around in the area, though, there are various barrels around behind the houses, sacks, and just general rocks and bits of wood that you could fling.
Alright,
But
I
he's
like to
holding
fling
the
a
pin.
rock. As I tell him to eat shit.
All right. So as you fling a rock at him, and as you incant the spell and the rock flies up, he quickly ducks and weaves to avoid it, and he's gonna get an AC bonus.
Please disperse.
Please disperse.
Just, 24?
Definitely, yeah, he's definitely not gonna dip it though. 24 is still gonna catch him for sure.
4. 8 damage.
Solid. As this rock
Yeah, how's it
catches
feel,
him.
asshole?
Oh, unsurprising, you resort to magic to make up for the lack of skill.
My name is Punchpants. I use fucking bowling pins as weapons. Loser. And I'll run away.
Loser, and then that's awesome.
Lizard man, I love it.
So it bounces like it swings back to hit Zerg and then like swings forward and just like smacks me right in the forehead. Like, and I reach down and grab both of the tires and then I kick forward trying to tear both tires off of it.
Okay, so I'm gonna call this a
You are
trip.
being removed.
Give me an athletics. It's gonna be athletics for sure.
Okay. 21.
21 as you reach down and yank out on these wheels. Again, steel bolted to a chassis. You're definitely not strong enough to yank them off from the thing entirely. But through your force and yanking, the thing ends up toppling over and ends up prone. The wheel's a little bit bent and kinked, but still turning and functioning.
Okay,
Please
and then
disperse.
I'm going to. God, this guy really pissing me off, man. I'm going to. Oh, man, I really want to go for bounce bounce. I'm pissed off at this man. I just step over the or step like onto, mechanical thing, and walk
Please
by
disperse.
Zerg, and I just full on right in the face, just punch him right in the face.
Okay. Step over the robot. Just punch Faust's stupid mouth.
Oof, with a natural 1.
And he's quick. You can be mad. But Bounce is no real slouch. He is very fast and just quickly ducks back out of the way of this. Your claw just swiping nothing but air in front of him. His eyes do go a bit wide though. He's a little spooked. And Bounce. Oh, not today,
You
lizard.
are being removed.
And is going to step back. And as he does, he steps kind of cautiously back away from you. But he does what the name suggests. He kind of almost skips backwards, gaining momentum as he does. And as he hits this little bit away from you, bounce, and launches himself up. And he's gonna make his athletics check.
Oh, you're such a loser.
And from a villain point, and from a that's Matt Romans. From a villain point, from this near standstill, he will bounce up onto this rooftop, 10 feet overhead. And then he will throw a bowling pin at Lizard Man.
It's
What's your
19.
AC? 19? All right.
Please disperse.
Bowling pin's gonna critically strike you as well.
Oh boy.
He does one thing and he's very good at it. And as this pin cracks against your snout, spirals back through the air, up towards him, he catches it, a grin on his face. And you are going to take 14 damage. The robot is going to punch out one of its gloves onto the ground. Error. Imbalance. And launch itself back up onto its wheels, where it wobbles for a bit. Oh, and it will provoke from you, Lizard
You are
Man.
being removed.
Ah, yes, I will take that.
So Siga being removed.
25
25 will absolutely hit.
for 8 damage.
And as you slash against this, you as well, your claws are just not terribly effective against hardened steel. You can scrape and scratch through. You're doing some damage, but it's being pretty decently reduced. And then from its new standing position, it is going to step
Please
back
disperse.
and launch a boxing glove out towards Zerg.
Good.
AC 19?
19.
Okay, good. That does not crit. This glove is going to slam into you dead center. Ah! Took it a second to calibrate. I understand now, different targets. It works on half-orcs. I tested it.
You get slapped in the face by a robot?
How else are you gonna test it?
I don't know, like a target dummy, you idiot.
And it is going to hit you for 11 damage, knocking you unconscious. Now, it is unconscious. You're not dying. It's a boxing glove. It's non-lethal. So it just hits you in the jaw and you just go down. You're in.
Hey, sleepy time.
You're not dying. You're just unconscious, and it's 0.
You are being removed.
So that's going to move your initiative to here. So Arvis, you are being removed.
I don't want to be removed. Crap. Okay, so 5 foot costs an action in this one, right?
It is an action. The robot is right next to you. It's turned away from you. It seems to be paying you no attention whatsoever. It's launching gloves at Zerg, knocking him unconscious, saying you are being removed.
I'm gonna 5 foot step away from the robot
Okay.
Please disperse.
and open my hands as swirling clouds and lightning begin to crackle around this machine. as I tempest surging.
So your lightning, the opposite effect, amplified as it courses across the steel of the robot. And as it's electrocuted, its head starts to spin, its eyes again flashing with this red glow.
Error. 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 Menagerie is not responsible for accidental.
And it goes bananas. It just starts spinning, fists in every direction as it goes completely berserk. And Bounce, oh, what? Why would you shock it? It's a machine! But that 9 damage is going to be hugely amplified, nearly bringing the thing down. But it is now shooting out steam, sparks, and fists in every direction as it spins wildly.
That's
Its
awesome.
eyes constantly flashing red. And it just make its reflex save. What's your D18? It's going to succeed on the reflex save. So I think it just takes the damage, right?
Yes, no effect.
Yeah, no effect, just the damage.
Okay. Selwyn.
Menagerie is not responsible for accidental harm to patrons.
Well, I'm not
Okay, then.
responsible for non-accidental harm to you.
I have error speech too.
I am about to, I'm gonna electric arc both of them.
Okay. Give them a good hearty zap.
Yep. They both need to
5,
make reflex
15.
save.
Yeah, it's exactly 30
17.
apart.
Yep.
What's the full range of electric arc?
We were 30 feet apart.
How
Oh, wait, no, I
close
can't.
is...
I'm sorry, yeah, you're right. I can't do it.
Because
You're right.
Jellicoe's 50 away.
Well, I'll do it like this, I guess. Like, I'll
Alright,
just-
move up and
Requires
cast it.
maintenance.
Yeah.
And now
see
you'll
that.
shoot a jolt between the two of them.
Yeah.
Alright,
yeah.
so then make some reflex saves.
A DC 17.
Okie dokie. So machine is gonna use a hero point. So thank you, Loopy Caster, because that's a natural one. You do
Yes,
not
it
need to.
requires maintenance.
You do not need to critically fail a save against an electrical effect. Please no. Well, it still fails, but it didn't critically fail.
That's what I can do.
Jellicoe. Also gonna fail. He's furious you would do this to the robot.
They both take 6. Well, I guess
Both
the robot
take
takes
6.
more.
The robot takes a lot more. Its weakness to electricity outright doubling the amount of damage you're doing to it.
Sweet.
Please remain a safe distance from malfunctioning machinery.
Oh, I am. Don't worry.
Are its final words, as with one final,
Error. Error. Error.
the machine spinning starts to slow down, its gloves just dragging on the ground, as the lights, blaring red, flash and sputter a few times and just go out entirely. You can still hear errant sputtering coming from the machine as steam and sparks are occasionally released, but it is largely shut down. And he just calls out, "Oh, come on! Do you know how much those things cost?"
Well, it's an Aries human, and that thing isn't human, so it couldn't air.
Listen,
Whatever it
man.
is.
So I see Lizard Man go down, and
Wait, you're a
you
lizard
would,
man.
not Lizard Man, Zerg. You see Zerg go down, and you would think that Lizard Man is actually a barbarian. Like, he rages. And he runs forward and jumps on
Uh-oh.
to this building with quick jump.
Bounce
Yep.
bounce is gonna bounce.
Well, you have a running start. You don't need to quick jump. You can just do the
Oh, that's
regular
true.
high jump.
Yeah. So
Bounce stepped and quick jumped. Wait,
and
but
then
his quick jump is
athletics.
called bounce for what it's worth.
Yeah, well,
21, you will do the same thing. Hop up 10 feet atop the roof next to bounce. And as he turns to look at you, his eyes go wide. Oh no. I'm sorry?
and I
Oh, you
and
will be?
I grab his tunic and pull him straight up to my face. Let's see if you bounce. And I shove him off the roof and push him just like push him flat off the roof to where he was before.
All right, athletics check.
Oh my god, yes. All the yes. Let's see if you bounce.
Ooh.
With an 11, he won't resist you physically so much as he will twist out of the way so you can't get good leverage on him.
So what I'll do is, instead of pushing him, I'm just going to tackle him off the roof and follow him down.
Well, that was 2 actions to jump up here. Because whether you stride and high jump or do the high jump, it's 2 actions and then 1 to try to push him.
Can I jump from where I was onto the roof? Or onto the side of the building?
You were
Where I could
15
reach him?
feet away. Do you have also, does quick jump do high jump and long jump? Then yeah, actually yes, you absolutely can. Because I didn't realize it was also long jump.
Well,
It's both, yep.
Yeah, and long
Yeah,
jump,
you can absolutely just, with the 21, you can absolutely just jump from right there. Because it's as if you had a 10-foot running start, so you can just leap up onto this rooftop. All right, give me another try then. -5 for your second
So-
attack.
Well, I was just going to, like, run into him and take him down with me.
You're still gonna need an athletics check to
Okay.
get him though. It's not like you're not gonna
Okay.
automatically succeed because you're not grabbing him or anything.
Okay.
Oh,
nearly a nat
I
20.
saw the 20 and then it's like, nah.
Okay, so 10.
10 is not gonna succeed. It's not gonna critically fail either. And bounce up on the roof here. We got, you can't just take my thing, get your own, and tries to shove you off the roof. What is your fort DC?
Fort DC is 19.
It's just gonna critically succeed and just launch you back off of the roof, where you're gonna land here, take 5 bludgeoning damage, and land prone. And he is not going to follow. He's gonna fling a bowling pin at you while you land on the ground and stay there! But this bowling pin is going to miss as it just, in his almost fear, defensiveness here, just clatters across the ground. Now it's not an intended object. If he misses, he doesn't get it back. And he draws out another bowling pin. So that brings us to Zerg, who is just unconscious. So there's no like dying saves or anything. He's just unconscious. Arabus.
Okay, keeping my eyes up on bounce up on the roof. I'm just gonna walk over to here behind the Zerg. Open up both my hands at the sides, and I'm gonna say in Druidic, "Rise for your Empress," and heal Zerg on the ground.
Okay. Not horrifying at all.
I don't know why I
Zerg
pressed.
is gonna wake up on the floor, prone with, I imagine, D8 plus 8 health. Which is 13. Solid. So you come to consciousness now, as lightning crackles
He's not
across
actually
you.
here right now.
Well, it was not his turn for a bit anyway, so it's okay. He comes to consciousness, lightning crackles across him, jolted back to life, and Selwyn.
Right.
And Loopy Caster, if you want to give a hero point out to somebody with that, let me know who. Oh, it's a villain point? Okay, so I was like, because I see the tip and everything. Just get the instant refill. Now we can tell stories about how Bounce through Lizard Man 16 feet off a roof of the hell in a cell bar onto the ground through an announcer's table. Amazing.
That son of a bitch is broken in half.
Selwyn.
Well, I would like to cast Silicon Missile again, but this time using his bowling pin.
Yes. Now you can do the thing that you wanted to do.
And this time I think I fixed Silicon. That's syntax error. That ain't good.
Oh well. Just roll a spell
Well,
check.
didn't fix. Yep. Guess I'll just roll
We
it.
tried.
And I'm using
what you
my
get.
Ascension rule.
It's
I
what
want,
you
I want
get.
this to succeed.
I see a 4 D20.
17.
17 will hit.
Oh.
He's looking down Lizard Man because it is the reaction. So the bowling pin is gonna come off the floor and fly right back up and hit him.
Nice. And I'll hit him for 8.
And with 8
yell at
damage,
him.
it kind of stumbles him on the edge of the roof there.
How fitting for a pinhead! And I'll intimidate him.
Yes. Well played.
16.
He's starting to look a little frightened now that the machine is down and he's kind of realizing the numbers advantage is not on his side here. He's gonna call back down. That doesn't even count! You're throwing him with magic! This isn't an act, it's just wizardry!
Well, don't act like you didn't get hit.
You're shit! Shut up!
You're worse.
Lizard Man.
So I stand up and quick jump back onto the roof.
Boing!
23.
You sure do. You stand up, just jump right back on top. It's like, oh shit.
Not again.
And then I am going to, I guess, try and push him off the roof again.
And, oh, dang it, yep, he can't bob and weave an athletics check, only a strike.
Athletics 18.
That'll do it. So you push him, bounce off the roof, where he falls down to the ground, tumbling over backwards. From the 10 foot of fall, he recovers, flips all the way over, lands on his feet, and bounces off the ground. Aha! I do bounce! We're turning halfway over in the air and landing back down at his neck. Fuck! It's just crumpling in a heap on the ground. Taking 5 damage and landing prone.
Fuck.
On the ground here.
He's having a terrible day.
Then he quickly stand up, shake himself off of it, raise the bowling pin up. Just kind of look across the group here. Look up at Lizard Man. Fuck you! I just throw it up at him. I got nothing.
Wow.
And as he just completely whiffs it, it just goes sailing off in the distance. All right. Fine. I yield. And puts his hands up. Arbus.
I start walking towards him, hands open, lightning starts crackling in my hands. I get to here. I look over at Selwyn, and I hold.
Selwyn.
Well, I am gonna drop both my weapons as I break into a sprint. And I'm gonna try to haymaker him.
We're gonna do this same thing we do every day, Pinky. He is going to try to bob away from this. I get the armor class bonus.
Oh, yikes. That's a 12.
And
Reroll,
your
reroll.
tiny
I
little
already used it.
gnome fists reach up, and he just kind of stretches up a little taller, back away from you. You serious?
Oh, shit. Okay, I guess I accept your yield. I can't blame you for trying. I think. Oh, maybe you can.
Lizard Man.
I jump off the roof, grab him by the collar, and haymaker him.
So, so jumping off the roof, even with your intentionally, it is still 10 feet. It is still going to do 5 damage to you and knock you prone.
Okay, so what I do
There's not a
is
way to
I'm
just
on the
yeet
roof.
yourself 10 feet down. You can climb down.
Wait, I'm on the roof, and now I'm on the side of the roof, just gripping with my feet. So I move 5 foot down, so I'm
Okay.
still 5 foot above him.
But
and
you also
I
have combat
haymaker
climber.
him.
Well, maybe a climb check to climb on the side of a building here.
Thank you.
Okay,
Wait,
fine.
wait.
You can walk down and just
24.
stay on the side of the building,
Walking
and you
down
just
the wall.
punch down. Just cling into the eave of the rooftop here.
Then I will.
Yes.
Oh, 24.
24
Although it's-
hits. It's non-lethal, so it's a -2, so it's a
Yeah.
22, which still definitely hits. And it
For
doesn't reduce the
60.
damage. And 6 will definitely be enough. to knock him unconscious.
Woo! Distracting haymaker into the real haymaker.
Great job,
thanks.
Selwyn.
Good job, Selwyn.
Yeah, good job, us. And I'll high five as high as I can go.
High five.
I will reach out and try to help up the Zerg if he wants my hand.
Yes, yes, please.
So you got healed for 13 while you're up. So you are you do have some health.
I feel fine. It's fine. It's okay.
I mean, 13 out of however much you have. You did get some healing while you're just stunned on the ground there. You blacked out for a second. A robot punched you and you
fine.
woke up on the floor. Not sure what happened in between.
So how heavy is this mechanical thing?
Very. It
I was gonna
is.
tell him something before I knocked him out. No,
It's
like,
okay,
it
we
is-
can get it later.
It is a medium-sized creature of steel and clockworks. It is hundreds of pounds. Carrying it would be outright impossible, but in its destroyed state, the wheels don't appear to have locked. You can just push it along, though it is emitting random sparks and jets of steam.
I could go get a cart and just put it
oh
on the
yeah,
cart.
get a card
and
is
then we
probably
could
good.
Yeah.
Wait, what if it sparks hit the card and it catches fire?
Yeah, it's not sparking that
How
much.
flammable do you think a card is?
Very.
So-
well, I'll take Bounce back and put him in the bear cage, and
That's a good idea.
and then come back and get the cart.
Or we can call it the shame cage.
You guys really gonna take Bounce unconscious body back with you?
Yeah.
Of course.
I love it. Okay, I would expect nothing less. So you all bounce over your shoulders, and then, I mean, the sparking, it's little bits of sparks and little steams and pops occasionally. Like, it's not gonna hurt you. You can wheel the cart, you can put the carny, you can push the carny bot back with you if you want.
I think we do.
Yep.
So it'd take you some time. It's fairly large and unwieldy and really not approved for the dirt roads that Aberton has. But you would be able to haul both the unconscious juggler and the busted robot back to the circus grounds over the course of about an hour or so. Probably arriving there around noon. And with that, I suppose that's a good time for us to take our break for the center of the stream here. Because what a magical situation. Oh, when you guys loved the Menagerie Showdown so much, I was so excited for the Phase 2 to come back around. And extra shout-outs, of course, to Sirenscape here. I got the little scroller thing that goes by on this screen up there in the top corner with all of our partners who help make this possible. Of course, Paizo put the adventure together. Serpent's Down Studios giving us the sick music. But Sirenscape pulling the S-tier weight in that fight with the ability to create the custom sound sets for that and let me record things that I can put together. It took more time than I would like to admit to put together all the various robot clip voices.
That's very good.
But it was worth it. You'll never convince me otherwise. We'll be right
it
back,
was.
chat. Stay tuned.
And
So, with Jellicoe, Alderan, whatever you want to call him, defeated and a demolished Carney wheeled back into the circus grounds, you guys arrive around noon. Fairly injured, honestly, not from the mephits in the barn, those didn't do jack to you guys, but from a dude chucking bowling pins and a robot that only kind of worked. Much more a deadly foe. Well, to be fair, the mephits actually did a decent amount of damage to the Zerg just because he happened to be the one that was there getting fire breathed on him and stuff.
To be fair, he was grabbing onto fire beings.
I mean, at a certain point, you're sort of asking for it. But you arrive back at the circus grounds, and you toss Findlesworth into the bear cage.
No.
Oh?
Orbis, do you mind asking the bear to, like, if we put this guy in there, that he won't let the guy out?
You know, I have actually extra cages from Masako.
Yeah, I kind of thought we were
in...
talking about the cage that he used to use for showing, not his wagon.
It's much smaller.
Right, no, we're not putting him
Wagon.
with a bear.
Why not?
Well,
the
because
bear
The
might
bear's a
maul
great
him.
security guard.
All I can do is ask him. He's
Ask him, see
big
what he
bear.
feels like.
He'll do what he wants at the end of the day.
I don't want to trust a literal bear on this.
We
just
could
in
put
case.
him in Masako's cage for a few hours, days.
Oh, that seems good. What?
Yeah, okay, Masako works too.
I mean, as long as
Masako
it
is
lays
pretty
okay
good with this, right?
Well, probably.
Well,
not. I mean, it is
confidence.
his cage. I'll talk to him. I think it'll be okay.
Perfect. So I'd strip the guy down, and
Okay.
after I talk to him, throw him in the cage. If he
So
wants this stuff back, he'll have to come to us.
he doesn't have really a whole lot of value on him. He's not wearing any armor.
He's wearing clothes.
Yeah, but I mean, like for anything that might be useful to you as you strip
Oh.
him down. He did have tucked into the back of his belt, not one, not two, 6 daggers. You know, in case.
Yoke.
And he had 5 more bowling pins on him, as well as the clothes, the clown costume he was dressed up in. But also in a small satchel, he has 4 pots of pitch black grease paint. Otherwise, that's literally all he was carrying with him. He didn't bring any coin or anything to this ambush of his, but he did bring a large robot. So you strip him down, take away all his bowling pins and assorted circus paraphernalia.
And all of his
Arbus
clothes.
and all of his clothes. Arbus talks to her wolf for a brief moment, and then, without further ceremony, you yeet Fiddlesworth into the wolf cage, naked, unconscious, and alone.
Why do we take his clothes off? Oh, Giant Lizard.
Well, if he wants to leave, he'll probably need some clothes.
What?
He has to come to us to get the clothes. I don't want him just like running out of here if he gets up.
Well, we put him in a cage.
Yeah, well, you know, he's a feisty bloke. He can get out if he really tries.
I'm more concerned as to, the question: why did we just not kill him, Selwyn? He's your enemy. We kill enemies.
Well,
Well,
he's a mercantile rival.
in my tribe, we kill mercantile rivals.
Yeah, I would have been.
Ever
okay
told like you
killing him.
ever sold anything in your life?
I haven't.
So you haven't had any mercantile rivals. So you couldn't have killed anyone in your tribe who was a mercantile rival. Or on opposite tribes, right?
I'm going to go feed my wolf.
While
Fair enough.
Fiddlesworth is in there. I guess that's probably smart, so he doesn't get hungry.
Yeah.
Otherwise, as you bring this fairly large robot into here, it's not exactly subtle. And the professor notices from whatever it is that he's doing and makes his way over across the circus grounds to see, well, what is this thing?
It's a robot we accidentally we destroyed after we were jumped in an alleyway by Bounce.
Bounce. The clown from the menagerie, they're still here.
Right, yeah, he's in the cage.
He just kind of looks over to the cage where
The
Aramis is
naked
feeding
guy.
Masako some meat, and a completely unconscious and naked half-orc is just sprawled out in the corner. Fair enough. Why is he in the wolf cage?
Well, because we didn't want him in the bear cage.
He stops for a second. As if momentarily reconsidering giving the reins of the Circus of Wayward Wonders to what may be a psychopath. Well,
Look, I don't know why he's
can't
naked.
argue against that, I suppose. But I can't help but feel as if there have to be other options than those two extremes. Regardless, he jumped you with this. What is this, a clockwork of some kind? Does it look like a carnival barker?
I think it is a mechanical.
What did you
carnival
do
barker.
to it? As he's looking over, like the scrapes across the side from Lizardman's claws and the huge dent in the back where Zerg had punched it. No, it's clearly fried and just stuff spurtering out of it everywhere.
Well, so Arbus summoned the rage of her lord, the Stormlord Grocery, may he protect us all, to strike it down with great lightning, and I summoned lightning from I'm not really sure where to also hit it.
Stormlord.
Well, fair enough, I suppose. Hey,
And we would like to fix it somehow. Maybe
Right.
someday.
it's something we can use. It's certainly interesting. I know nothing of machinery, really. I suppose I could ask Sig. He could have a look at the thing, but I'm not entirely positive if this is his wheelhouse, so to speak. This is, well, rather different.
Worst case, we'll make a cool prop.
It's certainly an interesting fixture. We could patch it up at the very least, even if we couldn't get it running again. Does it have boxing gloves for hands? Who designed this?
It's not very nice, actually. It's pretty hard. Stay away from the business end of those gloves.
And he looks across the group of you. I'll take your word for it.
And
Let's
the
say
head.
this is-
Watch the head.
Yeah, like so when your face is still just bloodied all over from these bowling pins have stricken you. This is about the worst I've seen you come back. Nearly. Then
I
2
mean,
days
yesterday
in a
was
row
worse.
with that.
I mean, how do you plan for being jumped in an alleyway? Right?
Well, I suppose you did well enough, but I have to wonder if whatever is going on in Aberdeen is really worth the trouble. I know we've already planned a show and everything, but this
no, it's
we
worth
can't have a show if our performers keep dying.
Nobody dies yet. Nobody
Yes,
did yet. We're
being
okay.
the predominant word there.
We're
You've come back
fine.
here barely alive nearly each day since you agreed to help the mayor. So,
it. Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, it's been really fun, mostly outside the plant. But I mean, my
Just kinda
face might be
shrugs.
bloodied, but my soul soars as I see this naked half orc. Oh, half orc, real orc in the cage.
he's half orc, yeah.
Right.
I
Well,
mean, basically, me and Zig are just practicing, so
Always. He's training.
and I certainly can't argue with the results you've been bringing in the circus so far. Even though we haven't had much time or manpower to really properly start advertising this next one yet or promoting, there's still an incredible amount of interest. Well, what have you left to do? What have you sought? Has my sideshow been helpful at least? They're
Very actually. We've investigated
good
all
to
of these
hear.
from the sideshow outside one. We just everything else is done, and the barn lead particularly helped us save a family.
quick point of order. The barn lead was not from the sideshow. You got that from Una.
Oh no,
That was
right,
the
but we
one the
had-
sideshow hadn't told you about at all.
Right, but we got the bar lead from the sideshow, right?
Oh, yeah, fair enough. I guess 2 stagers got you there, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that's great news then. If they'd been missing and they're now recovered, I know that was one of the primary concerns of the mayor. The Miller's family is important in a small community such as this. They've really nowhere else to turn.
Right, and the sheriff was the other one, right?
And the what?
The sheriff was the other one, right? That was
Sheriff
the other
was
main.
the Right,
A bit of-
you-
less of a happy ending on that one. I do believe he's been eaten by a plant,
Ah,
sadly.
well, unfortunate to be sure, but I suppose the knowledge is better than none. I've heard from sources that you've also dealt with the Mad Mug. They seem to be keeping to themselves much more today. Not really causing any trouble or capitalizing on the lack of a sheriff, so if the sheriff truly is gone, it's a good thing they're cowed. Well then, that just leaves the church, I believe.
Right, and that's the next thing. I believe
You'll
we'll
just
do
hear
that
from behind you
tomorrow,
guys.
maybe.
I'm not surprised.
Copy.
Doesn't matter how much sincerity I try to put into something or how much effort I put forth investigating, just 'cause of this damn form, I get taken the least seriously.
Now we're saving the most important for last.
and we hate the church. Church of Aberdolls. For fancy people.
How is
Vinegar
it?
rabbit oil is pretty whack.
How can a carny hate the god of money? Isn't
Well,
that
'cause
the
if I
whole
steal my
reason we
money-
do?
Well, I mean, you can love the money and not the god behind it. He's all about control, all about order, and systems.
Surprisingly well said, Selwyn. Besides, Cubby, I dare say religion's not really your strong point either, I don't believe. You've only been a sentient dog for, what, a few years? It's a lot of strange depth and layers to what people believe. Not all of it entirely logical, but money a reasonable enough point of worship for those without much else in their lives. Still, though, if there's a god I wouldn't want to offend, may it be the gold-fisted. A life without coin. Is that even a life worth living?
Depends on the circumstance.
Well, I'll fetch Tulip and she can help patch the lot of you up. You seem to have been quite well injured by... Looks back over the cage again where Wolf is just kind of sniffing at the unconscious body. He's also pretty injured, so he's probably kind of cocking his head trying to get his tongue into some of the more open wounds, licking at the blood.
Please, Gray, stop him.
That.
Oh, it's Masako. Stop that. We don't. No, come here.
He's hungry. Let him eat.
Wait, no.
So...
What's
You-
an arm? It's not problem.
It
Then you
is
can't throw
helping.
bowling pins. So the group of
I
you,
got pummeled by the world's lamest attack.
you guys have some time to try to heal up and tend to your wounds. And I believe this is a thing that I discovered last week, which is actually a pretty major feature of the medicine skill I didn't know about, that it largely affected both groups. When you treat wounds, since it has the hour-long cooldown, the way we've been flavoring that is you're still continually treating them, but mechanically they get that extra health every hour. Well, you can directly just treat them for an hour. It outright doubles the amount of healing they receive. That's a thing you can do. So, that's neato. But as the professor goes to find Tulip to help treat the worst of your wounds here, what are you guys doing? It's noon right now. You gotta tend to yourself?
I am going to attempt to see if Zerg would let me treat him for the next hour. He looks pretty messed up.
I have a quick business to attend to. Where is Ilva?
Oh,
All right, the bouquet.
Looking around the circus grounds here, you see Sig Jones, the bearded man. You see at least Hesper, one of the unjoined twins, and obviously Cubby's here. But there's a couple you don't see. She may be in town somewhere, she may be doing something, but she's not immediately present or obvious.
Do I still have the bouquet, and is it intact?
Yeah, if you put it together, well, okay, so let's see, what have you held on to it through? You've held on to it through being set on fire.
Uh-huh.
RKOing said fire Mephit
Uh-huh.
10 feet onto a dirty barn floor.
Uh-huh.
And
Well, we came back to camp after he made it, didn't we?
did you come drop it off, or have you still had it on you?
No.
Well, I kind of never picked it up. It was on the ground where the plant was. I
Well, that's
may
fair.
have
If you didn't
picked it
have
up-
it, if you didn't have it with you while you were fighting the fire Mephits, I would say it's maybe like a little squished, but still largely intact.
I'm going to put this on Ilva's. She's got like a caravan, right?
Yeah, all the sideshow shares one caravan, but they have their own little berths inside of it. Their wagon is largely almost just cots stacked up like
Right.
ship bunks.
I put this next to like the entrance, and I like to scribble just a little note on it. For Ilva, love from Zerg. Adventure bouquet.
Adventure. I love it. And you leave that down there, and then you let Selwyn treat you, I assume.
Yes,
serve
please.
myself.
I don't feel so
Or
good.
Artemis, sorry. All right, so Selwyn, are you going to spend an hour treating yourself then?
Yes.
Now we know that's a
I'll do my
thing you
best.
can do.
Yep.
So
I will
it's
make sure.
actually determined. Basically, you can spend the hour of treatment to just outright double the results of the value. So you can try to tend to yourself, And if you fail the medicine check and it's like this is beyond you, you don't have to expend the whole hour. You can just do it as 10 minutes and stop because you actually decide after you've rolled.
Oh, okay. Sweet. Well,
So give me your
absolutely.
medicine check.
Sweet.
The 24, though, that's almost a critical success. That's one off critically
Almost.
succeeding. So you will heal for 2d8, and if you spend an hour working, you'll just double whatever you roll there.
Oh, sorry, I rolled 48.
Or you could also 48. I mean, mechanically identical.
Yeah.
17 health then restored back to Selwyn. Arbus
Back to full, baby.
helping to treat Zerg, and Tulip will also definitely come over and help with Lizard Man if you want some treatment as well, because obviously she's definitely got
Yeah.
some medicine skill, and Lizard Man's
I'd
probably
sit
not
next to the
feeling super
cage and
fantastic
watch
right
this
now.
orc man.
Watch him sleep. All right, Arbus, give me your medicine check for Zerg. Are you an... Oh, wait, you're level 2. You're not expert. That is a critical success.
25.
So that's 48, and if you treat him for an hour, wholly doubled.
That's 88 then?
88 if you just want to roll a huge bucket of dice because you like the sound it makes. I like the sound it
I
makes.
do.
I like the sound it makes too.
Have this bucket of dice.
There's a lot of 8s and 6s in there.
I think I'm okay.
41 health
You feel better.
as Arbus truly proves herself here, treating Zerg.
I feel amazing.
Well, that was probably the garlic I mixed with the mud and the dung. It's
I
very,
love
very
garlic. Wait, dung?
What the what?
Wait, hold on.
Don't worry about it.
Tulip is... How bad do you look, Lizard Man?
About half dead. But, like,
Okay.
not that bad.
Tulip's an expert. Oh no, she's not an expert. She's level 2. She can't be an expert yet. She's just slightly. She's level 2. She's a little better. I was trying to mentally figure out how she had an 8 instead of a 7. So she actually doesn't get to have a choice. It's just the train DC regardless. Not really familiar with lizard biology, oddly enough, as her job is to tame a huge snake. But she does not regularly try to stitch together like massive stab wounds or huge bludgeoning impacts and broken bones. Like, your biology is very different from Mr. Tickles. And she does her best for a few minutes and has some tinctures and whatnot to certainly make it hurt less. But the shrug, I don't right know what I'm doing here, honey. I'm real sorry. I'm not a doctor. I don't know if there's much more I can do.
Oh, I feel way better. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Well, she kind of grimaces a bit, knowing that you probably don't. I can head into town for you. I was a shop. I try to fetch a couple of potions or elixir of some kind, but I don't know.
I can
Arbus,
get-
you always
yeah, I
been
can
so
get
much
Arbus
better
to
at this
join.
than me.
I've seen a lot of wounds in my day. I could take a look if we have time.
So after you just kind of, like, again, she did make it hurt a lot less. We just have to sort of wait until after the hour of treating Zerg, when Zerg becomes the legend, his wounds expertly stitched together, and poulticed to take a look at Lizard Man. And as the afternoon carries on, roll me your medicine check there. And Selwyn, if you wanted to attempt to identify that scarf now, you could definitely do that.
I'd like to try.
By telling me your modifier so I can roll it.
+5.
18 for the lizard.
All right, so
that's-
2d8, and then if you want to treat him for an hour, you can double that as well.
all
Still
right.
fairly early in the afternoon. It'd only be about 2 p.m. by the time you were done.
We'll
I
go-
really like that second edition makes time pass during a day. Like,
Yeah,
stuff takes a
yeah,
meaningful
yeah.
amount of time. I still love this.
I'll
It's
just
also
stick-
very nice you can actually heal up without using magical means.
Yes.
Oh, geez. 12 for the hour.
Yeah, it's good.
And with a +5, Selwyn,
That's me.
you kind of pull apart some of the auras of this scarf, taking a little more time. You know that Ara identifies auras. You know that Ara's kind of flighty, and with his quick examination, he doesn't really ever commit himself to things super hard. But as you slow down a bit, you realize that the illusion born in this scarf is a personal enhancement, but it's not something that's really going to help you in battle. It is a trinket, as a item of passing fancy, but for a circus performer, it could be quite valuable. Were you wearing this, you would just be better at dancing. Any checks made to perform the dance would just be enhanced passively. Additionally, and this is a little bit interesting, you realize it has a secondary effect. The illusion magic can be drawn out as a minor invisibility. If you dance, you can use an action to activate the scarf and conceal yourself in illusory auras. You wouldn't become wholly invisible, but you would become difficult to pinpoint. And that's not like a once per day thing at all. You can do that as much as you want.
Is there any limit to it? Or is it just...
The limit is it takes 2 actions, because you have to do an action to
Right.
dance and then an action to use the scarf.
Right. Well... I'd look that over and I guess I'll stuff it back in the box for now. Not knowing Cirque's deep secrets.
So do you share what this thing does at all, or just kind of like,
I would wait for the hour to pass, and then I'd address the party. Guys, I think I've figured out what this thing does.
Yes.
Well, so it makes you better at dancing.
Excuse me?
It makes you better at dancing.
Yes. It's boring problem to have.
Problem?
Dancing is for girls.
I think boys can dance. I think anyone can dance.
What does the
Yes.
scarf do?
And then I'll put it on and I'll start dancing. I will make the performance check too. I'll try to make
Yeah.
a really cool
hey,
dance.
performance check, and you get a +1.
Right.
+1 item bonus.
Sweet. So that's a +8 actually. So let's see. Oops. What am I?
Drop me a 20. Go for it.
A 14.
14. I mean, it's just for demonstrative purposes. 14 still
Yeah.
proficient enough. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, and then I'll activate the thing's effect. That's an dance.
Okay, and then as you dance, you activate it, and you would see with a shimmer, the scarf itself kind of twirls, pulling itself around her neck, like revolving, not strangling her. And first, the scarf itself starts to waver and turn translucent, and then so too does Selwyn, as she almost fades. You can see through her. You can still see her. You can still see that she's there and dancing, but she's transparent. It's like someone turned her down to half opacity. You can see the grass and the dirt behind her. And then after a few seconds, she shimmers back into full view.
That was
Ta-da.
fucking fantastic.
And as she dances, the small bells and bits on the ends of the scarf softly jingle. But once the magic takes hold and hides her, they fall completely silent. And they turn completely invisible, disappearing wholly from view, only to reappear when the magic is over.
So, what do you think? Pretty cool, right?
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I know Arbus likes dancing.
But the red, I mean, I don't hide from my enemies is the thing.
Well, it's tactical advantage.
I mean, Zig gets killed a lot, so I mean,
Yes, for protection is good idea, yes.
yeah.
want to get there.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I mean, he
May-
goes down. I mean, he
maybe-
gets hit a lot.
He does. Maybe I know not your thing, but maybe you should take it, sir.
It's a bit of a sissy girl thing to have, but I have to keep us all strong and alive.
Because you're
yes.
the mightiest.
Yes,
Yeah.
we cannot lose the mighty. Yes, I take begrudgingly. Is this
I'll hand
word?
him the scarf.
I'll give him a
You're
wink.
gonna have to practice dancing more then.
I guess I have to. If it
I mean,
means
yeah, if you
keeping
wanna be
everybody
good.
safe, I guess I have to do this.
I can show you a few moves.
This would be this.
I don't know
okay,
if you want to see her moves, but maybe the Arbus is pretty good at dancing.
What do you mean? I'm a perfectly sufficient dancer.
I mean, average, I'd say.
Oh, that's it. We're having a dance off.
Dance battle.
Are we having a dance-off then?
Right now.
All right, go
You can't just
for
throw
it.
up without throwing down.
Selwyn, toss me a perform dance check. And you gotta describe it. You got dance
Oh,
battle. You
shit.
got dance battle, lad. What are you doing?
Wait. I asked him to go first. I
Okay.
gotta see what I'm up against here.
Selwyn, in my tribe, it is customary for the laity to go first.
Well, all right, fucking fine, I guess. Depending on their role, I might actually just break dance.
Oh,
Oh god, well I'm breaking my neck dancing.
Selwyn tries the style and
I
like
fall.
goes to break dance and just drops down to the ground and just sort of scoots around in a really little slow circle in the grass.
Wait,
You're not
I saw
really
this in a
sure.
book once.
What's happening? Yeah, but you get the feeling that she's heard of this, but has absolutely no idea how it's actually done. So she just
this doesn't
stands
count.
up,
Let me try again.
grass stains all down the side of her outfit. Arvis.
Wait, no, I'm
no,
asking Lizard for a
because
lot
I'm not in
dance-offs.
this.
Oh,
Lizard's the one dancing.
sorry,
against me.
Lizard. Go ahead, Sullen, if you want to try again.
Oh,
You want
crap.
some
will
mulligan?
you let me?
I mean, if you, like,
Yeah,
listen, it's your character.
You
So, yeah.
Keep going. I mean,
Yeah,
You guys go.
Yeah. All right. I'll try incorporating my acrobatic style more into this, and then do like spins and flips as a hurl for the air. Okay, 20.
Much more proficient, clearly. Kind of more gymnastics than dancing, but you know.
You gotta do what you gotta do. See,
To each his own.
perfectly proficient dancer. Oh, I'll stop walking away.
Is that like a gnome dance off? Is that how that works?
Oh
I
right, yeah,
thought
you
it
go.
was like-
Sorry, go on.
I thought are we not arguing that Arbus is the better dancer, or is this also me? Because I am also a very.
I
good
You're the
was-
one who
dancer, but-
insulted me, so you're the one
Yes,
dancing.
I thought the
against
battle was between you two. I'm
Yeah.
just here to watch.
me.
Oh,
You're the
okay.
one who called me a bad dancer.
You know, these are
You're the-
perform checks. You can click these on your character sheet. Performance is a skill.
I know, but I was too lazy to open it.
Uh-huh. So let's see what I get here, and then I can describe. So I am a fantastic dancer. I'll have you know. So I start.
It's a 5.
Excuse me. I'm a fantastic dancer. And so I start, but we're on grass here. I start. I lock my arms to my side, take a step forward, and my heel, where it would normally on hard ground, click on the like the wood, and I tap my toe, and I do a hop, and my toe swings behind me, and I do a click click click. But there's no we aren't on a flat ground here. We're on grass, so it really doesn't make any noise. But I start like jigging along this lizard, like doing this little Irish jig with legs swinging behind and legs swinging behind, and then at the end give this big motion, but you couldn't really hear any of it because there was grass. But a
You
big
kind of walk
flourish.
sideways rhythmically.
I'm basically just skipping sideways rhythmically. Yes. See, that's a good dance right there.
I'll clap very enthusiastically.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
right.
Thank
I
you.
defeat Aramis is
Mhm.
clearly the better dancer.
Well, and we can always show Zig some stuff, but I think Arbus would really be better at showing Zig things. He needs like professional dancing, not backstreet dancing like I do.
That's fair.
I mean,
I can
Lizard
see
was
that.
very good. I liked it. I thought it was
Mm.
impressive.
Well, I had
Thank
the
you.
defeat, didn't I?
What?
I gave her the win.
Yeah.
Gave
So-
me the win. What?
Oh,
No, I
It's
thought
on!
that
It's
was-
on like
Thought that
Kong
was-
Dong.
That's That's
What is a
fault in my
Kong
speech. All right.
Mm-hmm. Well, either way, I'm gonna go check on that orc man. Make sure he's not
yeah, good.
waking up.
If either of you require any more, maybe a lesson or two, I'm available to teach.
Speaking of, I'd actually like you to show me more of how you treat people.
Me?
Yes, you're really excellent at it, and I'm not really that good.
I am not good at treating people, Sullivan. Oh, you mean with the medicine, not the way I talk to people.
You treat people pretty well, just normally, but yes, the medicine.
Well, you haven't seen me angry very often.
I think I've seen it more than most. I just don't think I get angry too often, so it balances out.
Okay, I can show you.
Over at the cage, as Lizard Man walks over, Fiddlesworth's still just kind of laying there in the corner in a crumpled, unconscious heap, with the wolf now curled up in the opposite corner of the cage, just trying to stay as far away from this naked, weird guy as possible after getting told off for licking up his blood just because it was there. You look down, nothing looks terribly unchanged. Hey,
Perfect.
Lizard. Lizard, is that you?
Yeah.
Let me out of this goddamn cage. You can't seriously be feeding me to a wolf. What's wrong with you?
Of course we're feeding you to a wolf. What else would we do to you?
He just like squints his eyes together real hard. He's clearly still trying to pretend to be unconscious. God damn it, I'm so sorry. What else do you want?
I'll start walking up to the cage.
You better say you're sorry faster. Maybe a little louder.
But I can't. Then the wolf will know I'm awake.
I'm sure it'll
At this point, the
understand.
wolf is clearly just looking at him, like snout just on his paws. He's looking at her, just staring at him in the cage.
Oh gosh, now the wolf knows you're awake, but it doesn't see you apologizing. Oh my god, it looks like it's getting up. Oh, can you see it? Oh,
Yeah,
look
that's
at its
what I had
hackles
looked
are
at her.
rising.
It's just sitting there.
Now look at that. Oh, all the fur on its
Lizard.
back is standing up.
And he would see someone say, Selwyn,
Hi.
open the
Hi.
cage.
Why?
Can you
seem
just
so
open the
snug in
damn cage, Selwyn?
there. I'll make you a deal. All right.
Oh, by the gods, what?
All right. I'll sprint off for a second and come back with a few
As
pieces
he's
of
going,
parchment.
I have a stick and I poke his meat between his legs, and I'm like, "Hey, doggo, look, there's meat. Fresh. Go for the kill, man."
And he immediately,
Wait, no.
as you put poking him, he immediately flinches back. God, what is wrong with you? It just kind of stands up, hands covering his crotch, cowering against the back of the cage, staring at the wolf and glancing up at Lizard Man. Are you serious? I threw a couple bowling pins in a gnome and you locked me in a cage to die! At this point, a lot of the various roustabouts and whatnot are just like yelling across the circus grounds. They're just kind of looking in amusement at whatever's happening. Because this wolf isn't going to do anything if Harvest doesn't tell him to. He doesn't know that.
I thought the quicker death would be for the bear, but, you know, they wanted the wolf was slower and more tearing and stuff.
Where did you get a bear? What?
Eh.
Look. God, where did someone even go?
I'll run
At
back
this point,
with the.
so it's sprinting back.
All right, I got these pieces of apartments. I got this pen. Okay, we're gonna let you out if you write. I'm a big stupid idiot who attacked the wrong people and my act sucks. 100
I'm
times.
not literate. What do you want from me?
Oh. Oh shit! I'm so sorry.
I
didn't
grew
know.
up in a circus. You know I can't read.
Well, I might have forgotten.
Anyway, what are you doing? Why did you come back and, like, torment us and whatnot? You know, we're just trying to do good.
We came down here because Mr. Dusklight sent us to.
Yeah, I know, Mr. Dustlight. I know how she is, but I mean, why'd you come? Why you come back?
Because he told me to. What am I gonna do? Say no?
Well,
Oh, right. Actually, well, bad timing. But how about you join our circus instead, so you can leave her?
That doesn't seem a terribly wise business proposition for either of us, I must say.
Why not?
Well, at the moment, you're an annoyance. But I can't imagine she'll take poaching her talent laying down. She sent the three of us to harass you. Nothing more.
Well, I guess true.
You know what she's capable of as well as I do, Selwyn.
That is true. Well, so I'll make your deal, right? We don't let you get eaten by the wolf, and you make the people stop harassing us.
They already left.
Oh,
Danica and Victor went home.
Yeah, why did you stay?
What do you think I stayed? Just,
I don't know,
you
why
embarrassed
did
me
you
in front of the entire town!
that was really funny, wasn't it?
I was your boss for years! I was gonna... I'm sorry! Come on, just let me out!
All right, but we've had our fun. It's all on good. But we're all friends here. I'll open the cage.
You open the cage and he scrambles out of it onto the grass, like literally falling over in his haste to get out and to scramble away from the wolf, who is not moving at all and is still just laying there, kind of just lazily watching whatever is happening around here. And some more of the circus performers and the roustabouts have kind of come around to look at this. And around the corner, what's everyone looking about? By the gods, why is there a naked orc? And Bartholomew comes around the wagon and throws his hands up in front of his eyes and backs up. Oh! No, things I didn't need to see this morning, afternoon. Zark, is this a friend of yours?
Whoa, dude, what do you mean by
And he just goes, no! What? We look nothing alike! Racist, first of all. Second of all,
This problem.
look, where are my clothes? I'll leave. I won't harass you any further. I can't promise that Dusklight won't let us do anything else, though.
Well,
That's true.
I mean,
That's fair.
you could try
Well,
not
no.
to, and we could give you back your clothes, or you
And
could just walk past.
Bartholomew in the
Dusklight
corner
naked.
just kinda elbows one of the dwarves down next to him. He's an orc, is it? It's not racist, is it? And Yagi just kind of looking at him. Are you fucking daft, lad? And Charlie goes, whatever, fine. Just let me leave with some pretend shreds of dignity.
No, we're gonna do a close back, and you'll probably still do your best to stay out of our hair. What?
Whatever best that is, fine. If I have any say in it, you won't hear from me again.
Sweet, perfect. All we can hope for, really. And I'll hand his clothes.
You hand him his clothes, and he still just in a circle of onlookers here that are just laughing at him. Reaches down for his pants. As soon as he picks him up, Tulip calls out, "Whoa, it's a better show than I knew Mistress Dustlight could ever put on, love!" And everyone around just starts cheering and applauding for this guy as he's just naked in the group, getting harassed. As he slowly pulls his pants back on, the green of his skin turning as red as it possibly can. But he has no more words left to him as everyone cheers and whistles as he gets dressed. Surely with a message to take back to the Celestial Menagerie. And as he goes, not even asking about his bowling pins or anything else that he had on him, he goes to push past the edge of the crowd and stops by Zerg and just turns. You know what? I have a talk with that boy back there. And just
It's
points
big
back
racist issue here. I don't understand the hatred for orcs. They think we look the same. It's unbelievable.
I get you. It's ridiculous. And he just sprints off into the distance. Ideally, never to be heard from again. And as everyone's just kind of laughing at that, Bartholomew left, just sort of looks around a bit. So, what in the world was that? What did I miss?
Well, that's a half orc, and there is another half orc, and they don't look alike.
Until it just kind of shrugs. Yeah, definitely social cues, love. She just kind of shakes her head, pats him on the shoulder, and walks away. Damn embarrassment, what that is.
Always the one.
And Bartholomew just, I don't understand. What did I do wrong? just everyone just kind of walks away from him. Thoroughly confused. The group kind of disperses. But the rest of you now largely good to go, healed up, and still a decent amount of day left to you. What's the plan? Head down to the church today. At some point in that, Arvis could have refocused and got her focus point back, surely. He's been here for a couple hours now. And also, the refocusing activity is not an exclusive activity. You can do it while you are doing something else that would be reasonable for you to refocus and for you to commune with nature. And your medicine, your understanding of like natural remedies and healing, you could absolutely regain your focus while you were doing a medicine check to treat somebody.
Oh, really?
It's actually not a mutually exclusive action.
That's fantastic.
Which is pretty neato. But what's the plan, team?
I think we should, we should head to the church.
So you got a little bit of a journey, but the church is on the eastern side of town. It's not terribly far from here. It's pretty close by. As you head off from the circus grounds, once again, to walk out towards the town, to approach this humongous stone building that is the House of Golden Laws, the Church of Abadar. You've walked past it a couple of times. It's a huge stone building, ringed with stained glass windows, and with a massive fenced-in cemetery around the back and side of it. As you approach the front, a wide porch of white wood, flanked with two of these stained glass windows facing the road. The northernmost one on your right as you would approach. Are any of you other than Arvis trained in religion? Well, you probably, I feel like if there's a god, there's like 3 gods you can probably recognize not even being trained in religion without any kind of a check, and Abadar is definitely one of them. The one on the right is, yeah, oh, you are too?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. It is clearly Abadar, master of the first vault, in his flowing robes, bearing golden scales in front of him. And Abadar is always pictured fairly simply, like as a brown-haired Taldan man. It's never particularly extravagant or ornate. He's never terribly done up. The robe is fairly plain and simple. The scales in front of him as he looks onward with his other hand raised. The other window, just emblazoned with dozens of golden keys throughout. Both windows have been smashed in several places, especially around the lower half, with most of Abadar's legs having been broken off, scattering the porch with a yellowish glass. There's a wood and brass door in front of you that leads into the main area of worship here. And that, too, looks like it's been near smashed off its hinges. Surprisingly, the door itself isn't nearly as damaged as the framework. Something large has ravaged this. And I will move us, large or incredibly strong, over yonder. Did not pull because I'm on the GM layer and I'm not smart. Over yonder. So you can see through the broken stained glass windows into the nave of the church itself, which is filled with racks of long wooden white pews, each torn asunder and marred by deep scratches, massive claw marks. There's an assortment of cushions of golden velvet spread throughout the room that have been shredded and torn apart, their feather filling spilled out across the benches and the wooden floor. Leather-bound books yanked from small wooden shelves on the back of each pew, torn to pieces. The sunlight streaming through the windows, filling the whole nave with a golden light, almost highlighting these bright white pages amongst the accumulated trash across the ground. At the west end of the nave, there's an altar in front of a massive mural of Abadar and a pantheon of other gods, sealing a massive spiraled creature inside a sphere. But the southern end of this, too, has been torn asunder. As you can see, what appears to be a fairly hulking figure, about 7 feet tall, with a gray cloak, currently slashing away at the foot of this mural with loud grunts, clawed hands extended, and you can see at the top of its head curled horns extending out from its yellowed, bulbous flesh. It's clearly not human. A small winged creature flits about the altar itself, seemingly reading, surprisingly enough. You can also see to your south there is most certainly an easy passage into the cemetery, we can see what appears to be 2 grave diggers, 2 workers, digging away at a set of open graves like nothing is wrong. Clearly, everything here is wrong. Only question, where do you head first?
That's a lot to unpack.
It is. You walk up to the church, but you see everything. It's kind of a large, widespread scene. But they're all
Yeah.
very busy with what they're doing. Nobody noticed, and I mean, you're on the road here. Until you approach up to the porch, you can't see these creatures inside the church itself that appear to just be reading or smashing in idle boredom. And the grave diggers don't look too out of place from the road. You haven't approached close enough yet for anyone to easily notice you, and again, everyone's absorbed with what they're doing.
Why are those guys still digging?
I think we should approach them first. Deal with the outside threats first in case they're hostile.
It's weird. Think
It
they
is weird.
stop?
I agree.
I guess I'd go down, start walking down to see what they're up to.
Wait, listen, we gotta plan this one out. So
I have a shield.
So the fence around the cemetery is a huge solid stone fence. So it's not like Lizardman just walking up to the fence in full view. Like, they can't see him from there. He's entirely behind a stone fence.
So what kind
so-
of plan?
right, you walk in first. You'll be my bodyguard, and then in case negotiations break down, we slap him. Right? Perfect.
Right. Okay, good.
Selwyn,
No.
I don't like this at all. It's Abadar and the Stormlord don't really get along very well. I get
Don't
bad
they?
feeling. Not really. Don't.
Sir, are you coming?
Eh?
You coming, bro?
Yes. Sorry. Wasn't moving much. Yeah.
So as you all head
Yeah,
down,
just-
what are you all doing? Exploration mode.
Shield up.
Lizardman's shield, he has zero faith in this. Shield raised.
Yeah,
Shit's fucky.
I'm gonna make a poor imitation of Lizard and also cast Shield.
I'll just repeatedly cast shield. Okay.
Yep.
You can do that. How about you, Zerg?
Zurg doesn't know much about this big old building. It's just another building. He's just more looking around, really. What is
And,
this? What is this?
Aramis, how about you?
Kind of on edge because of the current deities building that we're around. So I'm really like on a swivel as well.
Okay. So with that, the group of you, are you all approaching this doorway that heads in here, the entryway to the cemetery alongside the church?
I believe so.
Yeah.
True.
Alrighty. So this lizard man heads in with everyone else splayed out behind him. Selwyn repeatedly casting this magical shield in front of her over and over again. Clypeus! 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 Every 6 seconds or so. Maintaining it. You get in here to see a better look at the scene, where around these 2 men, several of the graves have been dug up, and huge mounds of fresh, dark earth are piled all around these gaping holes. The cemetery sprawls out before you. It's quite large. The amount of land that the cemetery takes up alone, probably almost 5 or 10% of the total of Aberton. It sprawls back for at least 100 feet, punctuated occasionally by larger headstones or special sepulchres, with a much larger crypt at the very back, winging all the way around the backside of the church. 2 strangely swollen men are holding shovels, digging here. They're bent over, doing their work, but as you come through screaming abracadabra repeatedly, they do...
Not trying to be stealthy.
Yeah, no, there's no stealth is happening here. And they notice you and turn around. The nearest one here stands up straight, hefts his shovel over one shoulder. Oh, you keep back, good masters. And you can see, as he turns out to look, he's got a handkerchief tied all the way around the bottom half of his face. You can only really see the top of his head. Oh, come closer. These ones right with the plague. They say she's contagious. One whiff you could turn black as pitch and be dead at an old tar before. The other one kind of stops, leaning on his shovel, just looking towards you.
No, in between
Now,
abracadabras.
Go ahead.
would you mind removing your facial protection for a second, good sirs?
Are you mad? Handling plague corpses.
Well, you're not handling them right now, right?
He just gestures down to the grave right next to him. They're literally right here. No, I'm not taking that off.
Well, sir, then step away from the grave and take it down.
Look, get out of here before you spread this to the rest of the town. Zerg, while you're just kind of looking around here, sizing them up, make me a perception check.
Perception check.
Perception
Yes. I can do this. 24.
check. Oh, solid. Wow.
Very good.
With a 24, looking through here, you can see that this graveyard is completely full of headstones. There's no space in this. You're not from Aberton, and you're not a particularly smart man. But nothing here looks like it has been messed with in years.
I
other than
resemble
the
that
grave
statement.
They're exhuming.
Hey, you're the smartest person in the party.
As accurate.
So sorry. So there's a shitload of headstones.
Yeah, I mean, the cemetery is completely full. So, like, and it looks like from the look of the ground and the grass growing over these graves and the weeds that have been popping up throughout now with a few days' growth, it looks like the cemetery has been untouched for years prior to this exhuming that's happening right here.
Why are you digging here? You bury body?
And they just kind of look at each other.
That's
The
a good
second one
point.
just shrugs a bit. The first one with the shovel sort of looks forward. The plague, disease, sickness. Well, I don't know what part of this isn't getting through your heads. It'll be the death of the
feel
town
fine.
if you ain't taking precautions, though. It's not. It doesn't happen instantly. Over hours or days. It takes your family. It takes someone you've been in contact with. Now get out of here.
Good sirs,
listen.
it seems like you're Oh, sorry, go on, Sark.
Listen, guys. I'm not the smarty man, really, but I was very bored and was looking, and there's lots of flowers around. Is this something wrong? I feel like something wrong, but I don't really. Something is wrong.
Look,
I don't trust these guys. They don't look good.
you don't need to trust us. You just have to leave. What?
Yes, this is what people say when they get caught doing bad things.
Look, you want to see it for yourself? And he just steps back a bit away from the grave. Clear as day. Corpse black as pitch, swollen with the plague. Take a look for yourself, big man. Your risk. I recommend you cover your mouth.
I can hold my breath for I can hold my breath for a long time. I'm also the lizard. So.
I'll follow behind. Well,
As you,
I guess we're walking into this trap.
yeah, like as you guys walk forward, he just swings the shovel around and just bat you towards the grave. And yeah, we are definitely fighting. As you get closer here, you can see a couple of things all at once. One, that the graves all have opened coffins, the corpses inside shriveled, like the skin suits you'd seen back at the Lindell barn. All bones and meat from within them seemingly sucked out and removed. And as you get a little closer to these men, you can see clearly that their skin is hanging very loosely around their
Yes.
frame.
What?
Yucky! Yuck!
I'm gonna
Ew!
roll some initiative, my friends.
It's gross. It looks like jerky.
No,
Take
But
a
once
bite.
I'm not
We're gonna
hungry.
take a bite of these
what?
guys.
That's tough.
Ooh, Zerg is incredible initiative.
At least I have my shield.
Yeah, the two shielded. It's fine. We go later.
Yeah, you have your you do have your shield spell up for this first round here. And let me roll their business. Not good. Good for you, but
Sweet. That's what I like to hear.
pretty okay.
Yes.
All right, Zerg, as you're here behind Lizard Man, and this guy hefts up a shovel to bap him. You see the guy in the back drops his and opens his mouth wide. You're up first.
I don't like that. That's not good. Oh boy, that is not great.
True. Yes, agreed.
Okay. He's going to spit plague at us. I'm still unsure if there's a plague. Still unsure.
He's gonna spit plague. I love it.
Lizard, out of the way! And yet again, going to launch Lizard.
Wow.
I swear you spend more time shoving Lizard than enemies.
It's more of an attempt to pick and throw.
Fair enough. What are you trying to move him to?
I'd like to throw Lizard to like. Can I like ping something?
You can click and hold the ping, so there's not.
Just
Yeah,
out
you
of the
shove him to
way.
the side. Yeah, you can shove him over to the side. Give me an athletics.
18.
All right. Lizard Man,
Get
you
shoved along.
get shoved along. Shoved aside here as Zerg shunts you out of the way of whatever this is.
And then still a little concerned about plague because I'm not sure it's real or not. Gonna cover my mouth and run forward into the first guy with a shoulder barge.
Okay.
Hopefully into the guy behind him.
All right.
With an attempt to knock him back into the guy behind him.
Okay.
I'm trying to
Give
move
me an athletics here.
That's a 10. Can I use my session reroll?
Absolutely can use a session reroll. You probably should, in fact.
That's a 26.
26 is significantly better here. Hey, 26 is going to succeed, but just barely. As you slam into him, you hit a solid wall. The skin over his body and under his clothes here is sagging and hanging loosely. But as you squish it back into something solid and sturdy inside him, you shunt him back a bit, but as he hits the guy behind him, it's completely beyond you to move. This is not human strength.
Great. Is that all my... Oh, I've still got an action, don't I?
Well, you move Lizard, step forward, and win at him, so that's 3.
Yeah, 3.
Arvis.
Oh boy. Okay. I am gonna saunter up behind my friend Selwyn, and I'm gonna kind of like, I know she's shorter than me, so I'm kind of like trying to stay behind her because I don't like all this. And I want
Fair
to
enough.
point my finger at these guys and fire electric arc at them.
All right. And so you shoot a blast of lightning across the two of them. They need reflex saves.
Fire. Isn't it an attack roll too?
No.
Electric
Nope.
arc is just reflex saves.
Okay.
Yeah, it just hits.
Take that out of there then.
The one in the front is going to fail as he's currently just standing there. Zerg slams into him, just grinning. And the one behind him is going to succeed as he ducks aside, his jaw distending like a snake. So 6 damage. The guy in front will take 3, and the guy behind will take 6. And you see the you see the electricity course through them in a very strange way. It catches very easily across their skin, skirting through their clothes, singeing and frying it. But you see it rack inward, like it's their skin is just centered on something. And this one at the front, as the electricity just racks over him, he just takes this. He takes Zerg slamming into him. He just grins. Huh. It's graves for you, lad. And steps to the side and is going to attempt to toss Zerg backwards into the grave behind him. What's your fort DC?
Is that the one underneath the
It's
fortitude
10
saving throw?
It's 10 plus your fortitude saving throw. Yeah.
Which is... Sorry.
I can look real quick. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
saving
yeah,
throws. You
it's
have
under the
fortitude. You have
fortitude, yeah.
E9. It's that. So 10 plus that. So 19 is
So
your
19.
proficiency.
Okay.
And he is going to critically succeed
Fuck.
quite easily.
No.
His shoulder almost picking you up off the ground and bodily tossing you back into this grave,
Threw him in a grave. It's a
where
very
you are
live
going
match.
to fall down 6 feet, take 3 damage, and land prone.
Ah.
And then he's going to kind of shuck both of his hands, slinging the skin up onto the fists, trying to get it back around the knuckles as he grins and steps up towards Lizard.
What?
Selwyn.
Well, I'm fucking afraid. Well, I'm gonna step here, hopefully get some cover behind this grave. Not anything mechanical, obviously. And I'll
No,
jump
you can.
in.
You're small. You can definitely take cover behind the grave. Stepping behind it will give you cover. It's kind of natural. It's neutral cover. And in second edition, you can take one action to take cover to actually duck behind it, and you'll have greater cover, which is a +4. Of course,
Oh,
if he
nice.
comes around the side, it's not going to help you.
Yeah. And then I'll twin feint this guy from behind.
Okay.
And on the first, 23.
23 will hit as your sword sticks almost easily through his loose flesh, but into something again much sturdier inside.
For 5 damage. And then the fainted strike is a 10.
10's not gonna do it, unfortunately.
I would hope not.
No. 10 just cuts through, like, almost unsettled by that first strike. The 10 just punches through his side, and you can see the tip of the blade come out to the side of his abdomen, Lizard, but you can tell clearly it's just punching through skin and skin alone.
I'm in danger.
The one in the back here steps up forward towards Lizard Man, but he only takes a small little step as his jaw opens further. You hear a crack as the bones inside the man's skull are crunched and destroyed, and you see a very different maw erupt out from his mouth. A worm. The front end of it opened to 4 jagged tendrils like a flower with a spiked tongue in the center, shoots out of the man's mouth, and just with a wet flop, his skin drops into a pile on the ground behind him.
Oh God.
I need everybody to make a will save.
I ain't happy.
Okay.
That's a 10 for me.
You are
That ain't
frightened 1.
24.
Ah.
What's my will?
13.
You are
So
also
23.
frightened 1. Selwyn Lizard Man in the front, perhaps so unsettled and so afraid, Selwyn, that you're just beyond actual debilitation at this point. Lizard Man, you're firm. Makes your skin crawl, but you're all right. Lizard Man, you're up.
Okay, so it's got this huge maw. I'm going to reach my hand in and then rake my claws up, like along his throat, mouth,
It's throat mouth.
30 throat mouth. Okay.
For a very underwhelming 14.
14 is not going to hit. As out of the body, this worm is a lot more mobile. It ducks back away from your claws, covered in blood and gore from the inside of the man it just abandoned.
No.
This is such
and
a
then-
horrifying token, Paizo. Why'd you do this to us?
Now, the
And
description alone frightens me.
Yeah, really. And then I'm going to move over here and set myself up.
Set
Raise
yourself
my
up.
shield.
Oh,
Just
okay.
set my- I'm just raising my shield.
So, Zerg, you are just prone in a grave.
Right.
You take a little
Love
bit of
it.
damage
Cool.
from just being pushed in, and that guy has incredible strength. And you can just see over the lip of it this worm erupt out of the other guy's mouth. You're also frightened
Jesus.
1, which is a -1 to all rolls you're going to do this turn.
Oh, great. Cool. Love
But it will go away
Fantastic.
at the end of the turn.
Okay.
I guess I'll get up from being prone.
Get up.
And then climb out of the grave as another action.
Yep, that's because when you're standing up, the grave comes up to like your neck.
Oh shit! Okay.
Because it's a 6 foot deep grave. So I mean, you don't need to check. You can just climb out of it. But yeah, there's another action. So it's 1 to stand up, 1 to climb out, and then you're up with 1 action left. Next to this man, still just grinning down at you. As he's turned back around, hearing you come out.
I would like to attempt to pull the gravestone out of the ground.
That's gonna be a hell of a check there.
That's a hell of a check. I'm gonna put DC like. Oh,
you bastard! You bastard!
It was on the 20.
Absolute bastard!
with a 22.
Yeah, still.
You lean down a 21 because you're frightened 1. And heave, and you loosen the gravestone, but you don't quite haul it out of the ground.
I'm mad about that roll.
That was robbed. It was like 20, 14. Harvest.
Oh boy. Okay, so I'm. You said I'm frightened 1. That's just.
You're frightened 1. So any checks you make this turn are at a -1.
Oh, good.
If you're casting spells where they make saves, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, I making eye contact with this crazy thing. Hands at my sides, open them up. Swirling cloud of cloudness around the man and lightning strikes in his head. Take the Tempest Surge.
Okay. And
Oh,
this
nice.
is
Oh baby.
the guy closest to you, or the worm?
The guy right in front of Zerg.
Okay. So he's gonna take 10 as this lightning racks through him. He's gonna make a reflex save, which he is going to succeed. I've had hot saves today. I don't think anyone's failed a save today.
No, both Bus and the.
Oh, that's true. No, there have
robot
definitely
failed.
been some failed saves.
And that was
He's
after
gonna
a
succeed.
reroll.
But he's still gonna. I did have to fish for 1.
Yeah.
So he's gonna take 10 damage though. That does leave you with 1 action.
Back away a little bit.
Good. I also had that thought.
And as he gets zapped, he's gonna turn to look to Arubis. Magic, is it then? Nagan's Mayhem! And a wave of purple energy erupts out of him, filling nearly the entirety of the courtyard.
I'm gonna
here.
use a thing I got for level 2. Let me just click it. It's a reaction.
Okay.
It's also, it can recognize spell.
Ooh, neato. Okay, if you're trained the appropriate skill for the skill tradition is the common spell 2nd level or lower, you automatically identify it. You're not an expert yet, so I'm going to. It's at a higher than 2nd level spell, so I'm gonna need you to make a nature check.
Gotcha. I could do that. Okay.
A DC table's behind me on
Nature
the screen.
check, and it will be 1 lower because it's frightened, right?
I guess it's technically
14.
a secret check. Is there the 14? It's a heightened lower level spell, so I'll get it to you. He's
Okay.
casting Harm as
Ugh.
3 actions in a 30-foot radius. Everybody make a Fortitude save.
I don't like this. I guess I'm not supposed to.
Oh, there's your 20, man.
22.
Critical success. 2 successes. You're too busy trying to figure out what it is. And you fail. So, Zerg, you take nothing as you just stand there and this washes across you. And you just stand there
What is
and
this?
beef back at him. Arubis, you're going to take 19 damage. Everybody else is going to take 9. You're all taking half.
What?
Oh,
Selwyn.
ow.
Well, for my first trick, I'll pretend like I'm not scared to hell. And I'd like to twin feint.
All right.
18 on the first attack.
18 will do it.
All right, 7 damage.
Oh, 18 actually won't do it.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Thought 18 did it, but I was thinking about the other guy. This is the dude in front of you who is still in the skin suit.
27.
27
minus
will
4, sorry. It's a 23.
23, and it's flat-footed, because it's flat-footed regardless of you hit the first one, right? So 23 will definitely hit, though. So you missed the first one, but you catch him off guard enough to take 11 damage from the second. And with that solid strike, he starts to stagger a bit, blood barely seeping from the skin drawn around him. But he winces in pain, and his head kind of shudders a bit around to the sides as the worm inside him twitches.
And with that, I'm fucking out of here, bro.
Sadness, he sprints out of the cemetery. The other worm,
I'll be here.
the other worm on the ground, now just wiggling and hissing, slides across the floor towards Lizard Man before lashing out with its maw. What's your AC?
It is 21.
Shield up. Good idea. It's gonna hit. This thing is huge. It's pretty big. The worm's about as big around as much bigger around than a person. It must be flattened up inside them. It's almost about 3 feet around, and it can almost just snap entirely around your shield. And while a spiked tongue just lashes around you, and it forces you back, snapping shut. And you are going to take 16 damage from the multiple points of shredding, and you see this thing start just ripping through Lizard Man. And then it's gonna bite again.
No.
And it's gonna miss, because it doesn't seem to be terribly competent at maintaining itself. That's certainly not agile by any stretch of the imagination. Lizard Man.
I am going to jump as high as I can onto this wall.
So there's a stained glass window right behind you. But you can just jump right here up the wall.
Or there, as high as I can do it.
So you're gonna jump up. If you want to roll an athletics check, 'cause otherwise by default you jump 3 feet off the ground.
24.
Okay, so you can jump about maybe 10 feet off the ground. It may not be out of this man's reach, but it's a start. Make me a climb check.
Is what?
A climb check.
Climb check. Clicky. 28. Natural 20.
Wow!
I am the most climby. I
Baby.
do not want to get near this thing.
In your absolute fear, you hit the side of this to realize the outside wood is weathered and a thin veneer for stone beneath. Your claws scrabble. It's nearly impossible to gain purchase on this. Yet somehow you still do.
Because I'm very frightened.
Adrenaline. Fearspiration.
So I'm still in this thing's reach then, yeah?
10 feet up, you would be just outside of it.
Oh, perfect. I'm gonna take out my anklet.
Elizabeth's clinging halfway up the side of the church. You pull out your necklace.
And then do I still have a turn lift? Or
Yeah,
action lift?
one action to jump. Climb was just to connect. One
Okay,
action to jump.
okay.
We'll draw the Atlas, and you can throw it with a third. We also realized we've been doing the Atlas strong. It is a thrown weapon off of dexterity. It's not ranged, and it takes a second action to reel it back in. So it will be left on the ground at the end of this turn.
Yeah. Well,
Oh!
that's a natural 20.
Baby! Lizard Man is scared. He pitches the sack. That's 2 20s in a row. You jump
Yes!
up, cling to the wall, draw your Atlas, and pitch it with incredible strength directly down into the open maw of this Vermlek, where the tongue is licking around at all the blood and bits of scale and meat that is scraped off of you. You're going to hit it for 14 damage. And it's going to screech as it recoils back. Zerg.
Zerg's not happy this thing's mean mugging him at all.
It's currently mean mugging Erebus.
Oh, was it? I thought that's the last thing I saw was him mean
It was mean mugging you when he
Whatever.
came out, but she cast a spell and he turned to her and cast his spell. But his hit everybody.
You don't mean mug anybody in my party. I'm the one with the muggies mugs. Okay? The meanest mugs. Okay? Zerg's gonna rage. Because he's angry
Ooh.
about it. And once again attempt to pull this fucking headstone out. I'm mad
All right.
about it.
Give me strength. Give me athletics, rather.
It's been loosened now.
It's loosened now. It is loosened now.
26.
26. You will
26.
easily heft out this massive, solid stone slab and heave it above your head as this dude just turns to you with a grin on his face that kind of falls off of his eyes, looks up and sees you hefting a headstone above his head.
And with all of the angry monkey power that I have inside of me, I'm going to swing this thing down onto him.
Give me your raging monkey strike.
14.
Well, you gotta hit him first.
Oh, right, dickhead. Nice.
Oh, no.
That's a critical fail. So forget the 14.
Do you still have a session?
Do you have a reroll?
No,
Use a
I do
session
not.
roll.
Oh, no. Shit.
He hefts it up over his head with a natural 1. In pure rage and burning adrenaline, his hands crush the stone where he's gripping it, and he drops the tombstone to the ground into the grave behind him. Arvis.
Oh, man. After taking that harm, I'm like, oh, back up a little bit, reach into my newfound bandolier and getting a little nature powder that I make for myself and quick
Nature
little
powder, yeah. Druid stuff.
battle medicine myself. I gotta make the check for myself, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Still have the ranger.
All right. And does frighten go away?
Yeah, it goes away. Your frightened condition decreases by 1 automatically at the end of each turn.
Okay, so I should be 0 now.
You're good now.
Cool. 21
You succeed.
on my check.
So you quickly
That's-
pull this out of the bandolier and heal yourself for 2d8.
2d8. Oh, that
Oh my God.
is filthy.
That was the worst pinball ever. But you
Yeah,
heal
it's
yourself
filthy.
for 5 health. It's a quick patch. 2 actions.
Okay. Let me see here. That's 1. Oh, lizard! I can't. You're too far. Okay. Turn
6
back to the
seconds.
guy that I'm magically dueling after I see lizards out of range and open up the hands again and with more focus try to really level this guy with Tempest Strike again.
Okay. You have 2 focus points?
Yes.
Yes.
Go. Second surge of lightning comes down. You got good D10, D12 rolls at least. For 8 more damage.
Yes.
And he is going
got-
to fail his reflex save this
Yes.
time.
There it is.
Oh, thank God.
What's that do?
1 persistent damage and clumsy 2.
Yes. Like he's
That's
dead.
dope.
It's very dope.
That's super good, actually. It's now his turn, and this lightning comes down on him. He looks down as you drop the gravestone and just sheer rage as you crush it, and just raises a leg to boot you back into the grave again.
Oh no!
Eddie! Zerg, what do you do? He natural 1. He critically failed.
He tries to
You're-
kick you. What do
You're
you do?
knocking him prone. How do you knock him prone?
Do I have any bits of stone left in my hand from the grave?
Yes, sure.
Can I kind of like gravel at his face with the
So he sticks a leg up, and you just fling all this rubble in his eyes, and he tips him over backwards, and he ends up prone on the ground. And as he lands, he's gonna pull himself back up, and then just swing at you with a fist.
shit?
What's your AC, buddy?
18. I've lost 1 for
18,
rage.
because rage. Which is gonna miss!
Wow.
You get in
He's
his
blind, his
head!
eyes are full of gravel.
All right. And then I will just open roll to see if the condition ends. It does. But he does take 1 more persistent damage from the crackling lightning before it does. Selwyn.
Well, fearing for my goddamn life. Oh, fuck. How much of a coward am I?
6 seconds. How much of a coward are you? What's your
Mary.
reaction?
I'm gonna telekinetic missile him with the shovel he dropped.
Pick up the shovel and whap. I love it.
Or 16.
He's clumsy and he stumbles as he goes to avoid this, but it just hits, it barely catches on the back of his head and just drags the loose flesh around him, turning his face to the side of his skull.
Oh no.
So you can see the movement of the jaw now, just in the flesh beneath his ear, and his
I wish I
face
hadn't
just
done
hanging
that.
limp on the side, but it doesn't do any actual damage.
You better not come any closer or I'll do something and I'll intimidate. We're 25.
Wow! Okay.
Well, he can't see him now because his face is off.
Yeah,
to the
it's
right.
surprisingly terrifying. Is he immune to fear? He's not. No, he's surprisingly upset there. Yeah, he spun his face around and he's spooked. He's clumsy. He's scared. He doesn't know it's blind. A monkey through dirt in his eyes, but he's now crammed all across his skull. The last of the worms here is very interested in the lizard that's crawled up the wall, and it's gonna move over, kind of underneath you, and slither up the wall at you, just kind of waving its little face, snapping its maw right below your feet before it realizes it can't reach. You're slightly too far up. It'll slither back down a bit and hiss out, "Niggins, ma'am!" And a targeted blast of energy is gonna fly up towards Lizard Man.
Does it slide back a bit? Like, does it actually slide back a bit, or is that just? Well, I guess I can't.
Well, if you're not in range of
I
him,
don't
he's
have
not in
the-
range of you both ways.
Well, that's true. I also don't have my Atlas on my hand.
You don't need it. You have a free hand. You're Blizzard. But, you're 10 feet up. Neither of you in range of each other. But it's physically possible this could not knock you unconscious. You could critically succeed the Fortitude save. You could also succeed and you could roll 3 ones and you take 1 damage.
Okay, Fortitude save, you say? Well, that was a 2, so a
Yep.
11 on the die, or 11
And,
total.
With that, as you see this black energy rack up into Lizard Man, he is going to lose his grip and tumble down onto the floor before him. Right in front of the worm, which rears back and opens its maw up to jump into Lizard Man.
Oh god.
Zerg.
Not so good so far.
He's
Shit,
still
well, I'm
clumsy
raging.
and frightened. So clumsy
Oh.
lowers his AC, frightened lowers his everything. He has -3 AC right now.
You know what? Zerg is going to grapple him. Is he facing away from me currently?
Well, what is your definition of facing? His body is facing you. His head is facing to the right.
That's
His
fucked. Okay,
face.
I don't know if you want to touch him.
I'm gonna touch him. I'm gonna grab him.
All right, give me an athletics check, which is at also a -2 because athletics is strength. That's 1
did you say
actually.
+2?
No,
+1?
he's he's got a bunch of penalties on him right now. Clumsy doesn't affect athletics. Frightened does. Wait, did you say 20?
Well, I got 19.
Oh, 19 is just barely not enough. You try to grab onto him, and with his incredible strength, he manages to force you off, even given his debilitations. He's very strong.
I'm just gonna monkey strike him. Wild flail.
Give him the hands.
Hands. 27.
Hands! That's a -5 because it's your second attack action
Yeah.
thing, but a 22
22.
still absolutely gonna connect.
11 damage.
And with 11 damage, almost enough to knock him down. He staggers down onto one knee, not out yet.
Knee to the face.
At the -10 raging swing. Let's see it.
24, so 14.
14 doesn't do it.
Okay.
You knee him backwards, and it just wrenches, and you hear the skeleton inside crack as you break the vertebrae in his neck, the worm itself having withdrawn. And now, in addition to his face being sideways, his head is just loosely hanging on his back.
This is fucking gross, dude.
Arvis, Clumsy ends now, right? When it comes back to you, or at the end of
Yes.
your turn.
Yeah.
I don't know if it matters. We'll figure it out then. Go ahead.
So I see Lizard Man fall off the side of the building at a quarter mile high. That's not good. So I'm gonna run over here to right beneath the base of the stairs, and I think that I'm, in range. And I'm going to chant some words in Druidic, and lightning is going to course around his body as I'm attempting to heal him from here, stitch him together a little bit. Which is a 8 plus 8, right?
D8 plus 8, yep.
One day. For 14.
That's a good time to
14
roll.
health restored to Lizard as he wakes up on the floor here. You're wounded one and prone. But as you knock this dude's head back, Zerg, the skull flops. You, from behind Arbus and Selwyn, you can see from the side, the worm's tongue shoot out of the man's mouth, punching through the side of the skull as it starts to dig its way out. And the one on top of Lizard Man getting ready to eat the corpse as this magic fills his body and brings him back to life. Both of the worms scream in agony at the sight. The one in front of Zerg twitching, convulsing, and dropping to the ground dead. While the one next to Lizard is clearly physically debilitated by watching him being brought back to life.
What? That is the strangest fucking weakness I've seen in my goddamn life.
Selwyn.
Wait a minute. So my healing him freaked them out? That's
Yes, then they took
That's-
mental damage and you killed one of them.
what? That's crazy.
That's awesome. I'll move up behind this grave, and the shovel next to me, I'll launch like a missile at this thing. Hopefully blindsiding it as it's reeling over. I'm not very good at for 12. I'm not too.
No,
good at
you're
this whole
very
telekinetic
scared right
thing.
now. It may not
Yeah.
see a frightened condition on your token, but the player is frightened 5.
I'm
it's
scared shitless, and I'm still
not
gonna use
going
these
great.
mental powers.
Lizard Man. You awaken, you
So-
black out from it as this magic overwhelms you and awaken on the ground to see this worm recoiling and flailing like a snake in pain.
I'm like, ah! And I just like throat punch, just reflexive, like, just 25. Much better than I originally thought.
25 will hit. He'll take 8 damage as you just start clawing away at the thing frantically.
And I flip over and use my tail to like run to flip myself upright, and I just on hands and knees just like out of there. I'm like that. Nope. Nope.
An actual lizard just scoots across the cemetery.
And then I'll
Oh,
stand
wow,
up.
listen, who's gonna take the hits for me?
The worm, writhing,
else.
enraged, still just screeching now in wordless fury, slithers across the cemetery towards Arabis, lashing out in blind rage towards the healer. What is your AC?
19.
He is gonna hit you. As you stand there and your spell completes, this thing rushes over in a flash and starts just shredding across you for 10 damage. Most of the raking talons and fangs, largely superficial, but so numerous that it's causing far more mangling and pain than it should. And he's just gonna lash out again, just pure fury. He's gonna hit you again. And Arabis now is going to hit the floor unconscious. Dying. Justice for the worm creature. The one who took his meal should become it. Zerg.
Gross.
And as we
This
come
is-
to you,
This is gross, by the way.
you see the small creature from the pulpit up against the window of the stained glass here, flitting back and forth, looking out in the graveyard, trying to see what's going on. It almost looks kind of like the Miffits, but much smaller, only a few inches across. A tiny little green horned demon darting back and forth, assessing the situation.
I see this.
Everyone would see this.
Well, that's obviously not good. If I've seen it and I'm angry, I ain't thinking much.
You might
Kill!
not see it. You might be a little preoccupied. I think okay, you have a good point. Up to you if you see it. Everyone else can see it. You can. If you're tunnel visioning, though, maybe not. Because he's behind a stained glass window and he's like this large, so it's not super obvious.
Well, with the dropping of the thing in front of me, I'm looking for my next target. What do I have to kill? What am I getting? And seeing this through the stained glass window, run and launch through the window. At it.
So you rush up to the window and you slam up against the stained glass to discover why it's not completely destroyed, why the ones out front only have shards missing, as it's fairly reinforced with rivets and bits of iron woven through between the plates. But you crush a lot of this, and that little demon thing fucks off immediately, flying much further back into the church, not interested in whatever you're bringing.
I'm angry. I'm gonna now rush to the this disgusting
Worm thing. All right, you got one action left.
And as I'm running, just a punch to the business, whatever I can.
The
see.
general worm body.
Yeah.
The worm business.
22.
Oh.
Again,
20.
the missing.
You get robbed. 22 will definitely hit.
I'm mad about it. 13.
Still, though, 13 damage slam. A massive monkey fist smashing this thing into the dirt as it readies to eat Arubis, and it writhes and shrieks in pain. Arubis, you're actually down here now, so that means it is Selwyn's turn.
I'll move it here.
Rogue
For that
things.
For that juicy flanking. What do you mean, bro? Did I do something wrong? Or are you still
No, I said rogue things. You have the flanks.
Right, okay. I was like, wait. Did I do
Bro,
something
it's
wrong?
rogue things. Run to
Yeah,
flanking.
yeah.
I see sneak attack.
Yeah. And I'll roll this normally because I don't have this set up in the sheet correctly. So first attack for 24.
24 as it's writhing now, distracted from its meal by this giant monkey behind it, looking completely away from you.
For 9
Easy
damage.
9 damage.
Another one.
Oh, wait, no. It's flanked. It's already flat-footed. That crits. 24 crits the flat-footed exposed worm. So, more than that, what do you do, Selwyn?
Well, I see this thing reel up behind, backwards, ready to jump into Arubis' mouth. Did I get it right this time?
You did it right, Arvis. You got it. You got it.
Sweet. And as it starts leaping into the mouth, I pull out the short sword, put it in front, and just slam it down into the ground.
And it writhes for another second in pain before whatever this creature is finally becomes still, dropping limp and dead in the cemetery yard. You have one action left. I don't know if
I'm
there's
pulling out the
anything you
potion.
can- Pulling out a potion. Lizard man.
So I am going to run over. Oops, I went over on the other side. Oh no! I was too excited.
Too excited!
Okay, so I'm going to run over, take the potion. Wait, can I? I guess I couldn't.
Yeah, you'd have to
I
use that
thought
last action to take it from Selwyn, so yeah, he takes
Okay.
2 actions to get here. Arubis, you are going to need to make a death save. A death save is a flat d20. The DC is 10 plus your dying modifier. And you're currently dying 1 because you just went down, so it's DC 11. So it's just a 50-50 chance.
I'm gonna session reroll that.
Well, I mean, yeah, you might as well. We're near the end of the session here, I suppose.
Yeah.
You can. It's also worth noting if you don't have any other hero points, you can use all of your hero points together to just immediately stabilize.
Oh, so well, I didn't think Sorcerer was
yeah,
the same thing.
Yeah, you can do it with your I don't know. I guess we'll leave that to later deliberation if you can do
That's
Sorcerer
why I
for that.
didn't
Either
just
way,
do that.
with an 11, you would stabilize yourself here. Not injured enough to bleed to death on the ground and be stuck unconscious at wounded 1. Now, Zerg, as the area grows silent around you here, you feel your rage subside with great justice, vindication filling you. As for the 2 times that you have been so grossly robbed in this battle, Jasteron has given you not 1, but 2 hero points as recompense.
Jasteron.
Down.
All right, I feel much better. Thank you.
I don't think I would notice in the heat that she's stable. So
Yeah,
I'm
it
still
would take
taking
it
her
would take a
potion.
medicine check to even tell.
Yeah.
So,
1d6 plus 1, or is it just a flat 1d6?
is it the elixir? Elixir is just
Yes.
1d6.
Alright. And I'll say, get up, great. We need to fucking leave, and we need to do it now.
So, Arbus would come to on the ground with 5 hit points remaining. Brought the Selwyn pouring a potion down your throat and a bloody, desecrated worm thing right next to you as Zerg's massive hair recedes and his monkey fists return to their normal size.
I
On the
can
run.
pick it up and we can run.
Yeah.
So,
Zerg is still coming down from the adrenaline, a little bit out of breath. Fly thing inside.
Yeah, we're
Kill,
leaving.
get,
Nope, we're
Get!
leaving. Nope,
Kill!
leaving. Nope,
Get!
leaving. Leaving.
kill, get.
I'll stop running. I'm running off.
so that one just takes off.
And they're pointing.
Not interested. As someone runs off, you and Lizard Men almost carrying Artemis between you. Zerg maintaining fly thing, kill, get. You follow them. Zerg, you go with them.
Oh, sorry. I
or-
thought you were saying yes. I follow them. Yeah, I'm following them.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I was
much as I wanna
asking.
run
I mean,
inside.
I will present you the opportunity to retire your character if you so choose. But I was thinking you're probably following.
I'm following. Much to Zerg's dismay, he's just like,
You take mental damage from running away from combat. But the group of you retreat quickly back into town. Or the brief sounds of combat and the yells. There's a couple faces kind of peeking around from their homes, the roads, kids playing in the street not too far away, just looking curiously, wondering what's going on at the church. You run past all of them, I assume, because
Yep.
Carney stuff
out
to
of
do,
it.
which is not die. Back to the circus grounds once more.
Everything sucks.
And when you arrive, Arvis at some point having largely regained the ability to run and to walk of her own volition. 2 of you, Arvis and Lizard Man, pretty desperately injured from their magics and their attacks. You all come
Awesome.
together.
I'd like to stop by the shopkeeper on the way.
The shopkeeper's on the other side of town.
Well, I guess I'll, when we're in safety, I'll sprint over there immediately.
So you head back over to Old Varn Tarvel.
Yes.
As he's done cleaning his sign, you head inside. There doesn't appear to be anybody in there. Door's open. You don't see Varn anywhere.
I'll go inside and say hello.
No
Anyone home?
response immediately. Just emptiness. It's a fairly small, like, wooden shop. It's largely the living room of his home that he's converted with all these shelves and whatnot.
I'll go outside and yell again. Hello?
As you turn around and step outside the door, you see him coming around from the side of the house, wiping his hands off. Now, is this it? When you finally come to rob me? What do you want now?
No, actually not. If I did, I could have done it while you're away.
He just tosses the rag down the floor. Mm-hmm. Dumb logic.
What? Never mind. Can I have 2 more
No
potions?
logic. I'm getting inside. I don't want to talk on my lawn. Hot. And he trundles up the stairs and heads back inside. Why are you here by yourself again?
Why wouldn't I be?
Fair enough.
I thought you enjoyed my company so much that I would like to have you for myself.
I can't help but feel this is a joke at my expense you're making. That or you. I hate to tell you, I've really grossly misread our relationship. I mean, you're a gnome. You ain't smart as possible.
I'll bring you around.
What do you need, gnome?
I believe I just said so. 2 more potions.
He kind of looks over his potions. His little rack is. Burning through my stock. Time I
Well,
ain't
should
got
we
an
be happy?
alchemist. I don't get resupplied often.
Well, that's all.
These
well and
could
good,
be
but-
going to good folk, not traveling circus gnomes.
Well, it is going to good folk. I haven't used any of them on myself. I've actually used it on a human each time.
Huh. Alright, fair.
She's my retainer, you see.
Yeah, so I've heard. Alright. 2 of
Us
them.
gnomes aren't smart enough to be out on our own, so I mean, I keep the humans safe, and in turn, she keeps me safe. It's a lovely relationship.
6 gold pieces. You think
Yeah,
about
I'll
the
hand over
crystal
6
at all? Like, he just pulls out of his pocket and dangles a little crystal again. You think about
I'm
this?
still- I'm good.
You're a loss. And just kind of hands you 2 of these bottles here, like they're just a sack flat into your hand. With just they got real simple labels. They're almost perfectly round, little clay containers, with a flat
Right.
bit of parchment stuck to the outside that just says health. Nothing further than that. He hands them both to you.
That's what I need for him, and I'll leave.
You scamper out the door. And he's shaking his head behind you as he heads back out to whatever it was he was doing back around the house.
As I leave, I'll do like a gruff voice and say, "Fucking gnomes."
You make your way back to the circus grounds where Lizard and Arvis pretty severely wounded here. What are you guys doing when Selwyn runs off?
I'm just gonna go to sleep.
So, Lizard Man's like, done. Just face plants in the dirt.
Can I just sort of treat myself while I'm just sitting against a tree?
You can absolutely treat yourself.
While I just
Because you
sort of
battle
hang
medicine,
out?
but you can regular medicine.
Yeah. All right. Sit
Give
and
me your
just
medicine check.
Sort of stare at the sky while I do it. 18.
18 succeeds. So I'm assuming you're probably going to be spending an hour treating yourself as you have been shredded very severely, and even
I'd
just
like to, yes.
just bandaging up all the flesh that worm ripped through it takes some time. So yeah, there you go.
4? Yeah. Ooh, 20.
20
stuff.
health restored to you. Lizard Man is just face planted on the ground. So Selwyn, as you return, Arbus is bandaging herself up. Lizard Man appears to have died. Zerg, what are you doing?
Slowly meandering back to our mine and lizard's tray, a big tray that we sleep in, but sort of looking over.
Just cart.
Yeah, looking over at where Ilva's caravan is, sort of like, has the bouquet moved?
Okay, as you're looking back, as you're walking, it's kind of looking behind you. Doesn't appear to be there anymore. As you turn back forward towards your cart, Ilva is actually right in front of you. Just standing there, an eyebrow raised. Zerg, this is
Yes.
unexpected.
It's a little gift from adventure. I thought we killed big scary plant, and I thought it's so beautiful and strong. It made me think of you.
And she just kind of cocks her head to the side. A plant, big and
Hey,
strong.
scary.
scary plants. It's an interesting story. I feel we have much to discuss. And, just kind of gestures back to where your card is. I join you?
Yes, please. Lizard's sleeping, but lizard sleep for a while. Don't worry about this.
Well, I think Lizard's just sleeping in the dirt. He's not even like
Yeah,
at your
I'm-
car. He got back to the
Oh, really?
campground. He got to the campground, his face planted in the dirt.
Oh, then yes, please.
He turned back to watch she looks and just kind of picks up the end of the scarf with the jingly little bells. What is this? This is very wimpy.
Yes, it's very wimpy. As the rest of the team think Zurg need to have more defense. They worry for my health, but I don't really need. But I keep for them not to worry.
His scarf, it is what, 82 degrees outside? They bundle you up for safety?
I do not understand either. It's for them, not for me.
So when you return to Artemis on the ground shitting herself, and it looks like Lizard Man's dead. He appears to have just fallen over.
Well, I'll pull out my medicine kit. And
As
help
you
the
arrive,
lizard.
you can see one of the Flamboni sisters over by by Tulip's wagon, talking to and just points over at Lizard Man, and you see Tulip come sprinting out from her wagon towards where
Don't worry,
Lizard Man
I got it.
is eating shit. She does not stop. But
Oh, really? I got it.
I don't know for. What in all the hell's happened now? You were here not 30 minutes ago.
Well, about that. So we it's a funny story, really. We passed by a barn earlier where we found a bunch of skin laying around, and we're wondering, okay, what happened to those people? And short story, we found out corpse crawling worms had infested some humans, and they attacked us, and it wasn't great. It just wasn't great.
And you just hear a voice on the other side of you. What the fuck?
Hey, Colby.
I eat my own shit, and that's still disgusting to me.
I know, right? Same, really. Wait.
Tulip's just like slack-jawed. What?
Yeah, see, that's what I said. I was fucking terrified.
So as you spend, I imagine, probably a decent amount of the afternoon here trying to touch up Lizard Man, who is very severely injured and ready himself, you reflect back on the events of the last couple of days, the insanity that has befallen you. But you can't help but feel that as ridiculous as it's been an interesting experience. You've learned a lot from. And you're all level 3 now.
Yes, that's what I was hoping for. Woo!
Now,
Hell
certainly
yeah.
there's definitely some stuff still left at the church that needs dealt with, whatever was there in the nave. The hooded figure, or the cloaked figure rather, and the tiny flying demon. But not something to rush into. Not after a fight like that. Not after those worms. Certainly something we can pick up next week. But your dice have come around. You got to redeem yourselves with an absolute face fucking against some mephits. And then some pretty well fought encounters, I do say so. It's been a combat heavy session, to be certain. But I think you've proven yourselves pretty well here. What a glorious battle. It's only really concerning what more there may still be left in the Extinction Curse to come. Thank y'all, chat, for being here. Thank y'all for hanging out. We will see you next
Yes.
week. Same time, same place. 4 p.m. Eastern time. Good night, everybody. Nobody died. We did it.